third side. For me, I would say this is where they're a little bit stronger as well. Actually seems like it's Simon starting. There we go. Okay, so it is Simon starting on the CT side. Of course, folks, we've got those odds for you on screen now. Do be sure to get involved. Loot Bet supporting us. Cannot thank them enough. There's those panels down below, the Twitch panels down below, where you can get yourself 10 free spins. Either way, P250 starting off from Fiku, the raid boss peeking out into middle, trying to find a frag. At best, does 25 damage.
And for AGO, they show a little bit of presence out towards mid, but really they're just going to regroup. They've got a smoke and a flashbang to potentially try and see if they can make their way into the A bomb site and even try and take that CT control, which is something that we see from them time and time again. Simon, now there are two players towards this A bomb site. Really just a retake setup coming out from Simon, seeing if they can find anything. Norbert may not get checked in this position.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Definitely should have found that kill. How have they let this happen? They could see him round the corner, and Norbit going to strike at the perfect time. The bomb has gone down. Groovy the only one left. They only pick up one frag on the AGO side of things. That is an absolute mess. They had the theory, they had the game plan, but the execution, absolutely terrible.
How Mo gets 2 kills there, I don't know. Like, there is no way. He should have got instantly traded. They knew exactly where he was. And no, you're absolutely right. You know, they had the right game plan going into that, but really just fell apart completely. Now, at least they get a bomb plant, so at least they got a bit of money. They're able to force the issue going into round number 2. But for Simon, no one checked the angle of Norbert. He was able to swing out and find quite an easy time with a couple of kills. And Simon, at least they're looking sharp in the early stages of Mirage.
Bomb plant comes in though, so pretty strong buy, all things considered. 4 Galils in play. Very limited utility, but we'll see what they can get done with it. That's what we were looking for. The double dink coming in from Furlan. He is left on 11 HP. The kills coming in massively right now for XCOM AGO. My goodness, Simon have just been absolutely picked apart by this rifle buy. It is bare bones. They had 2 smokes to work with, but they used them perfectly. And well, KDO not a chance.
Wow,
that will be the steal coming in from AGO.
That's insane. That really is a massive round. And what it just comes down to is just drive-by peaks, just raw aim coming out from the AGO side and winning out so many of those duels. Yes, Fiku and Furlan get taken down quite low, but overall, like, those were some very nice shots. And well, that's a perfect response coming out from the AGO camp. And with Simon, they only get KDO to save onto the M4. They have to force buy the issue, otherwise they'll be on double eco status. Okay. And it seems like AGO, after losing the pistol round, have got a lot to say.
Certainly angry stuff. See what the answer back is from Simon. A force buy, of course, we've talked about this an awful lot, and we will continue to do so while the economy stays where it's at, and, you know, these types of buys are facilitated for the T side. It really messes with your finances, particularly if you are on that more expensive CT side of things. So, yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't, really. They're just going to try and knock them on the down. Great, that flash coming in towards the ramp. Oscarish, thank God he's there for the trade, but still a kill and a half, essentially, for Norbit. Pretty good pickups coming in, and
look at KDO,
AGO early on, feeling the pressure.
KDO's pushed so far aggressively, so they can just rotate all their players to stack in this A bomb side. And well, Scriv, you mentioned these buys before. They're looking pretty good. It's a 4-on-3. Really out through connected does go down. KDO into the action, and well, the big flank really is going to be able to shut this round down.
Split on the T side right now. This is dangerous. Game of chicken between KDO and Oscarish, just waiting to see who peaks first, essentially. Ruby trying to make a little bit of noise, trying to bait out some kind of a peek. It's just not coming. Oh, KDO, the timing. We'll see. They're not ready for him, however, and he will indeed finish the round. Took a while. You said it was going to be the difference, but did take a while. However, Simon going to get that second round on the board.
Well, they just slow it right down, AGO. They're into the 2 versus 2, and well, for KDO, that's just so well played. You know, he doesn't overextend. He's playing around that Tetris position. He knows that with the backstab play, there must be someone, there must have been some information coming out of where Oscarich was, and well, he just waits and plays a bit of the patient game. AGO actually come back with a pretty decent buy, considering the fact they didn't get a bomb down. Not a great amount of utility, but AK's across the board.
Not sure if I'm a big fan of this buy, I have to be honest with you. It did work out for them last time. The mid control, though, with little utility is incredibly difficult. Sure, they have the smokes in, but kind of need those flashes and mollies to keep the CTs at bay early on, which clearly they did not do. They've lost a man, and now the CTs are happy to concede the mid control. So really, you've just wasted that utility for nothing. Trying to creep in, oh, but Kio's Spidey Senses gets the better of him. And that was kind of the only chance I think they had. Groovy, nice pick up onto Norbit. 4 versus 3. There's some low HP bars. This is definitely doable if they're not careful. Berlin almost spotting the head, does eventually take out Neil, and that's a pretty big frag to be finding. Down goes Kios. 3 versus 2 as AGO with the cheeky walkout onto A have done so much damage. No kit available for these remaining 2 CTs, and now it's just Mo with not very much to speak of. 1 versus 3. The back and forth continues.
And that was a 5-on-3 advantage coming out for the SYMAN side. They just let so many of those aim duels slip. Mo at least going to be able to try and see if he can retake this bomb site, see if he can clutch it out. I mean, unfortunately, he's only got a scout, and well, he's seeing if he can kind of isolate some of these one-on-one picks, but towards the bottom of the connect up, he's going to be able to take him down. So back and forward we go once again. Probably another force buy coming out from SYMAN. And how many rounds, Scriv, are we just going to go back and forward with these force buys?
I mean, if I had a crystal ball, I'm not sure. It's it's a little hard to tell. I think these 2 teams as well, with a map like this where it's like AGO not the most solid side on it, I think they're going to pull out a lot of rounds like that where they just try and work the individual play. Their executes, their initial ideas, clearly not that good. You know, they spend a lot of utility in the middle, lose a man, and the mid controls conceded. However, SYMAN in doing that didn't properly adjust to get ready for, oh, there's some guys going to walk out on us or, you know, push into us. Into this round, though, it could be a bloodbath out on A. There's 4 players ready and waiting. This could get deadly for the T side.
It certainly could do, and for AGO, it doesn't look like they want to back off at all. They want to just keep committing to this site. There's so many players here from the CT defense. And let's just see if these Deagles can find anything. On towards the site, Kios is with his Deagle, already a fair bit of damage. Norbert's going to be able to find them first. The 1-for-1 trade comes up, but look at these players already tagged down. Finally, it's going to be the trades coming out, and you'd have to think their XCOM AGO are finally going to be able to win 2 in a row. Oh, no. Okay, hang on a minute. Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Almost. The damage still being done, though. I mean, there's an argument to be made that they force into this one. I don't know. Would be a little wild, but I can see why they might want to go for it, bringing it all the way down to the wire, and as you can see, just no cash at all.
They're going for it.
I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. It is a bit mental, like I say, and certainly risky, but why not? You know, you never know. And the thing is, it's like, they're probably not going to be able to buy into the next one, you know, if they do lose this, but it's a case of keeping that T-side economy as weak as possible early on.
And that's the big thing, is obviously not letting AGO start to run away with rounds on the T-side and run away with the economy bonus. Quite a heavy stack out to this A-bomb site once again from the side. Really, they're just only leaving Nealon out to the B-bomb site. And Groovy getting tagged up just a little bit. And, well, that's actually going to rotate a few players over to B now.
Ooh. Beautiful shot from Mo. The rotation to B is very quickly thwarted. What happens over on A, as like I say, they very quickly rotated back, looking to hold things down here on the other side of the map. Oh, he's got an opportunity to really find some heads at this point in just a second or two. Oh, I think he got a tag in, not quite the frag. However, it set up the rest of the squad. KDO will go down. Norman's still alive, but going to be taken out by Groovy. Thank God he was in a Palace, right? That so important position, and it seems off the back of it, they will indeed clear out the A-bomb site. So without Groovy, it could have been a very messy round with those Seagulls in play. As you can see, look how low they are. But he was in a great spot, and he manages to give them that second avenue of attack to work.
And that's actually pretty good. They're coming out from AGO. Unfortunately, there are just so many tags coming down, but not enough to get the finishing blow. And Nealon's just going to try and save onto this Mac 10. Got a little bit of Kevlar to work with. But you're right, Simon, they won't have enough money to go for a forced buy investment into the following round. The one thing I certainly have noticed in the past from Simon, especially when they're on gun round script, they struggle a lot of the upgraded pistols, the upgraded deagles. So we'll have to wait and see if we go a little bit further into the first half when the rifles come up, if there's ever an opportunity where AGO are going to be on an eco round. And you know what? It's actually not a bad lead coming out from AGO, considering the fact that this isn't even their map pick.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the fact that it is indeed being kept in their favor, and you know, to be honest, they're not a great team on Mirage. It is probably their worst map. Maybe Overpass, you could argue, because they don't really play Overpass. But still, they're not supposed to be this effective. And for me, as I've said, I feel like they're a little bit more of a CT-sided team. They're getting off to a strong start on their T side, and keeping things going here is a really, really good sign.
It certainly is, especially with Furlan being able to find the opening kill as soon as the KDO starts getting aggressive out through the apartments. Now, there is a bit of a heavy mid stance coming out for the CT side. Seeing if they can just find anything with it. But for AGO, they're going to rotate back to the A-bomb site for the execution. And you know what? The Poles have done this quite a lot. They've established a bit of map control out towards mid and the B apartments, and it seems like they always just go back to the execution at A.
Yeah, the all tried and tested method. Should be relatively simple, though. There's only one player directly on the site. If they move quickly, they can isolate the angles properly. Stairs and jungle smokes coming in. Yeah, he's got to go for the wide swing. They get a little crazy here on the CT side, and nothing works out for them. Just all running into their death. It will be the 5th round for XCOM AGO. Now, though, we're into our... I think this is our first proper rifle round, is it not? Where both teams have had a fully fledged buy. So, 7 rounds in. Only took us a bit of time.
It did take us a little bit, and that just comes down to the rounds just being so back and forward, breaking each other's economy, force buys coming out, just left, right, and center. And finally, it does take a little bit of time, but we're here. We'll probably see the AWP out for MHL on the T side. Hang on a minute.
Oh. Oh. Seems the big man may well have disconnected on the observer side of things.
We'll have to wait and see. We'll be getting back into the gun round relatively soon. And well, there we are. 5-2 up, XCOM AGO on Simon's map pick. And well, we haven't actually seen the AWP upgrade coming out from MHL. They had enough money to go for it, but yeah, no, they're opting against it. It does come out from Mo at least, and well, one person you certainly spoke about, Scriv, in the pregame was the was Groovy to keep an eye out for. 13-3 at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things where it's like, okay, you can't necessarily rely on him not, you know, you have all these ideas, you have all these, okay, they do this, that, and the other that they're not so good on, they're not so great on the map, but then you have this uncontrolled variable in the sense that you have a player just, well, absolutely unstoppable, seemingly on his own right now, going for the solo peek off the back of his own flashbang there at ramp. Sure, he doesn't find anything, but it's just the confidence that he has right now.
And he's actually pulled a lot of attention away in some of these aggressive A ramp players to allow a pretty easy mid take. They've taken the top connector smoke, taken you know, great map control out through mid. And that was one thing that I suppose they tried to do a fair bit in the past, especially with no utility. This time around, having full util makes it so much easier. They've got a lot of options. SYMAN. Now, they've only got a single kit, and it's on the back of Norbert, who is playing at the A bomb site. So really, if they start to make their way into the B bomb site and take down at least a couple of these anchors, it could pretty much be an instant save coming out from SYMAN.
Gonna have to stand strong. Once again, love this from AGO. Furlan just leading the way right ahead of the utility. And KDO needed to find a bit more there. Nealon as well had a great opportunity, to be honest, to get a few shots in the side. Fiku, it seems he reacted and took him down with a Mac 10. That's absolutely terrible. Groovy will find Mo. And that's the round. That's also the AWP drop, so a pretty big pickup there at the tail end. Norbert and Kios, no opportunity to do anything, just going to have to look to save, and even that might be difficult for them to escape.
Okay, this is actually turning out to be quite the surprising events at the moment. SYMAN really not finding anything in that rifle round, and I suppose it does come down to, well, they only really had one B defender. They had a second player of Mo with the AWP that was kind of watching the flank out the window room, and well, no one goes down. They hunt all of those rifles out of play. 6-2 on the T side, and maybe SYMAN are second guessing themselves about pick a barrage.
A bit wild. It is a little bit wild and totally unexpected, I think, across the board, right? Maybe it's something that AGO have been working on. Would be curious, you know, to know whether they have been, or perhaps maybe try and see the last time that they played this map, right? If it's a few weeks ago or whatever, right? If they've been looking to ban it away while they've been working on it. Although I think that's pretty difficult to do. They played it in MDL a few days ago on the 30th, right? So
yeah,
they have had a little bit of time, I guess, to work on it. And it came close. They lost, and the thing is as well, a lot of these games they've been playing have actually been coming very, very close recently. So maybe that's a part of it.
Maybe for the SYMAN squad, just kind of looking at like the fact they've won 3 maps out of 16 in the last 3 months was kind of like, oh, okay, you know, this actually might not be a bad pick from us, but you're right. I mean, for a lot of their losses, very close results, and well, at least so far, they're looking really sharp. You know, the strats are looking on point. They know exactly what they're doing. One thing I've certainly noticed from this AGO squad in the past is sometimes they overthink things in the gun round. You know, we see them trying one thing and then they find an opening somewhere else and they're like, okay, we're going to do this. Oh no, hang on, we got another opening. We're going to do this. And sometimes they kind of like overthink things, but so far they're playing pretty stock standard. You know, it's been very simple Counter-Strike and it's been very good Counter-Strike.
Pretty much, I think so, right? They're just hitting the fundamentals. Nothing crazy, not overthinking things, no insane mid-round calls trying to bamboozle them. A lot of the time, as you said a few rounds ago, they just open up, hit some nice shots. Ooh, okay. Mo's still alive here, gotta be careful. But yeah, they just hit some nice shots and then... Ooh, okay, that was nasty. Some good damage done, I suppose, but their economy is starting to spiral out of control here on the T side. Yeah, this is pretty nice.
Yeah, not bad. Pretty good stuff with the Deagle. But unfortunately, it's not rounds at the moment, Scriv. And, well, they've gone for the double AWP setup. They've gone for a bit of a change up on the CT side, seeing if they can just find an opening kill. That's even been one thing they've been struggling with, is finding an opening man advantage.
Nice bit of nade damage coming in onto Oscarish. Maybe the man advantage will come in with this double AWP setup. Oh, not going to happen though. Groovy just picking up one, walking away. Ooh, nice little spin around from Mo. He'll take down Furlan, and down goes Fiku. So connector, you know, not the area that they thought it would be, not the easy take they thought it would be after finding that first frag. Unfortunately for AGO, a bit of a misread in that scenario. But the thing is, it's still even. 3 versus 3. Really not looking too good for Simon, and their defense split. Playing a bit of a retake over on the A-bomb site. Mo's going to have to, at the very least, stay alive to wait for the rotates.
Yeah, Mo's got a really tough task at the moment. He really needs to find a first kill, try and fall back and just hold on to this AWP. The Jiggle Peak comes out. And will the T side know exactly where the AWPer is? Maybe see if they can try and get a flashbang over to deal with him. Oh, that's so smart. They don't show any presence in MHL. It just goes for a wide swing. Mo was so, like, focused on the play out towards ramp, and well, MHL, it's the element of surprise.
Absolutely massive. And Neelan really thrown for a loop. Going to try and go for it. 1 versus 2 is certainly doable, but no kit available. No information to work with. Walks through the smoke, and they're just going to let him come, not taking any risks at all. Absolutely love this one. MHL peeks out with the Tech 9 and takes him down. But yeah, really nicely done. A little bit passive, a little bit safe, not just taking wide swings as and when they feel like it. And Simon, once again, losing out. It is a little closer this time, but still, they are getting absolutely walked all over right now on Mirage.
This is not good. This is really desperation at the moment for Simon. I mean, they've even brought out the double AWP setup. They haven't found anything with that. Mo, I suppose he's been consistent, but he hasn't been, I suppose, finding opening picks. Really just struggling across the board for the Simon side. And for AGO, well, they've already been able to win out 8 rounds so far in the first half. They could potentially even get to double digits, maybe even try and push that further.
All quiet in this round then. Would like to see a little bit more of a risky play style from Simon. Maybe not just into the defaults. And I guess they do have some players up mid in that nice little 2-man setup that we see from time to time. But maybe push them a bit further. Just go for it. You never know. You might find the headshot that changes everything with these Deegs. And there it is. Okay, Norbit on the other side of things. And the aggression from KDO is successful. That beautiful second shot as well. Oh no, a 5 versus 2 in the blink of an eye. Simon have indeed found the cheeky frags. MHL will trade KDO back. It's not over just yet, but it is still going to be very, very difficult for the T side here. But Simon keep giving them fights. 3 versus 2 now. Looking more and more and more doable, as it will be a B split. MHL swapped across to the AK to try and deal with these low HP players. Another kill coming in. Oh my goodness. This is absolutely beautiful from Fiku and MHL. They've brought it from a 5 versus 2 to a 2v1. Sure, it's against the Deagles, but still, the information game, the positions they're taking, the fights that they take have been absolutely perfect. However, Kios on the flank has the opportunity to drop the planter in just a second here, but he's not fast enough. The timing doesn't work out for him, and by the skin of their teeth, XCOM avoid disaster.
I'm sorry, Scriff, but why are they fighting? Like, they have a 5-on-2 advantage. And they're just taking unnecessary fights. They're absolutely taking unnecessary fights. KDO could have got... He gets that second kill onto Oscarich. Why doesn't he fall back? Why did they not play passive in the site? They just give up so many 1v1 fights. Yes, I suppose you could say good job from AGO, but Simon just fed them that.
Yeah, pretty much, right? It is a bit frustrating to watch. Great nade damage coming in. The rush in towards the A site this time. No slow thinking, slow methodical mid-round execute from XCOM AGO, just rushing straight in. Norbit will trade one back. Ferlin and Fiku incredibly low. Fiku is trying to find this player in the smoke. It's Ferlin to get him, actually. Secondary AWP of Mo coming in. 3 versus 3, 2 very low HP players on this T side. On Groovy needed to do more there. He's left his teammates in such an awkward spot. They've not got the bomb down just yet. Gonna try and go for it, but easier said than done at this point. Attempts at wallbangs could be very successful indeed. It was a fake out though. Ferlin goes on high, drops Norbit, and now leaving KDO and Mo to do all the work. KDO trying to creep around triple. Oh, I think he might just get the drop onto Ferlin. All good for that, but Fiku left in this 1 versus 2. They know where he's at. The double smoke is coming in. A little bit overkill. He's trying to find the head. He's not able to do so. The lineup completely wrong for him. And they will manage to steal the defuse through the smoke. So Simon getting their 3rd round. A little bit of a crazy one, back and forth and whatnot. But all the same, they will get, finally, a rifle round on the board.
And there we go. That's a really great round coming out from Simon. And for AGO, like, we've seen some very passive stuff from them. And, well, just to take a little bit of a moment, use a code MaltaV for a little bit of extra money on your account with our great partners of Hellcase. MaltaV 15 for a 15% refill bonus. Great partner supporting the Malta vibes. But really, Scriv, it seems like for AGO, that was one of the quickest site hits yet. And for Simon, it worked out in their favor.
Yeah, definitely. I think they took a little bit too long to get the bomb down was the main issue. They took site control, but maybe not solidly. Yeah, they weren't confident in themselves. When you go for that quick rush, obviously the rotations are going to be incredibly fast, and you don't have any areas smoked off initially anyway. So, didn't really work in the way that they wanted. May well stay away from it in future.
Look at this mid control coming out from AGO, which they've done time and time again. There's almost no defense being really just put up here, giving just free range to the mid control. Ruby wanted to try and aggress through that smoke, but it's actually to spam the other way in the trades when they go in favor of the CTs.
Yeah, pretty heavily as well. Ooh, MHL on the Tech 9, a little messy. Does manage to get one. What's going on there? There's players everywhere. Maybe needed to find that kill onto Mo, but it's not going to happen. And Oscarish, he just cannot find the angle right now. He knows that Neelan's here on default. And Neelan, I don't know about giving him that fight. Certainly making life difficult for the rest of his teammates, but it's all good. Oscarish, you know, he's moving in nice and slowly. And Mo says, thank you very much. Just walks straight into his crosshair, and Simon now stringing a couple together.
And it's a recovery, to say the least, but it's certainly not enough at this point. Even 6 rounds, I would say that they'd probably still be disappointed with it, but considering the point where AGO have been, you know, they've had so much momentum, they look so good on this T side, that 6 rounds would be decent for Simon. And, well, for the buy going into the next round, especially with the bomb plant, they'll be able to get a pretty comfortable buy-in. Fast play out towards mid. There's actually quite a lot of CT presence here. Neelan is so blind that, oh, he actually wins that out.
Little mental. That's going to be frustrating as well for Oscarish. Where do you want to start things? However, the distraction has been sound in at middle. Furlan and Fiku both going to pick up frags. However, Neelan still alive here at Get Right. Rotators being taken down. Neelan quick to the mark, but he will be traded eventually into the 2 versus 1. Incredibly speedy round. The bomb down in no man's land has allowed Norbit to creep in, and he's in between them right now. They might think this kind of whole area is safe. That's not the case. Wins the key fight against Furlan as well, and able to just dip away from MHL. Ooh, the Tech 9 trying to follow him up, but it can't be done, and Norbit wins the 2 versus 1. A massive clutch coming in, as it's now going to give a solid chance across to Simon to actually really close the gap. A hell of a lot more than we would have expected the way that this first half started.
That's huge clutch coming out from Norbit, and honestly, that probably keeps him in the game. Like, if AJ would have won that, they would have been up 10-4. They would have just reset the money line for Simon, so it would have probably been map over in that single round. And for Simon, they can be very, very happy they win out a huge clutch. Where do XCOM AGO go from here? It's almost as if these last few rounds, they've continued the momentum, but they haven't just been able to find the success. It seems like Simon, finally a bit of confidence going their way, and, oh, well, Mo, he could get taken out if Furlan starts to aggress, but he's going to just buy right past him.
I'm gonna find something on the other side of the map. They're essentially trying the same thing again, I feel. The short control comes a bit too easily as Oscarish will drop KD O'Neill in a great spot once again, but MHL is so fast with the pre-fire. This is aggressive, this is in your face, and this is massively successful from XCOM AGO. Norbit, 1 versus 2 is certainly doable, but a 1 versus 5, maybe not so much. He does get a couple, but unfortunately to no avail in the end, and a quick 10th for the T side.
And, well, AGO, really impressive stuff on the T side of Mirage. Honestly, they win pistol. I could see them just running away with this map. We're seeing some really great stuff from them. 19 kills up for Groovy, only 8 deaths. And, well, you have to think, look at those odds. This is Simon's map pick as well. 1.12 for XCOM AGO over on LootBet. And, well, I mean, the odds they tell quite a bit of a story at the moment.
Yeah, definitely, right? You got to feel for Simon. Not looking too good for them, right? And as we've said, they're mapping, and it's also a very weak one for HGO. Oh my goodness, the bloodbath though in the underpass. Oh no, disaster for the CT side. A 5-on-2 immediately, straight off the bat. And it looks like Simon, well, at the very least, they'll get the pistol and begin to close the gap.
I'll tell you what, that was a pretty interesting setup coming out from the Polish side. They put 3 players to the underpass, and well, they certainly were met with a bit of contacts, but it pretty much all went the way of the T side. Ostrich, last one left, 1 versus 5 attempts. And, well, what a start coming out from Simon on the T side. Maybe all we needed to see was their T side and Mirage.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be difficult for them, but that is certainly a case. See how it goes for them, but the thing is as well, you know, perhaps that's where some of their weakness comes from. I mean, to be honest with you, Dwayne, quick look on HLTV. Again, it's difficult to trust at the moment with the way that this game is going, but it does seem they are a little bit more comfortable on that CT side of things. So, hard to tell whether they will find great success on this T side or not. Up against the Force Spy, will we see a repeat of the first half? That's the major question here. Is it going to be another back and forth affair? At the moment, not looking too good for Fiku at the very least. Tagged down to 20 HP.
Simon, now taking a little bit of damage on Arcadia. Chaos finding the opening kill when, well, again, mid control being established out for Simon, being able to force the CTs back into some pretty passive positions. Probably looking at a B split on the cards here for Simon, considering the fact that they've taken quite heavy mid control. They've got a player out to the apartments. They are actually going to be running a stack here for the Polish side, so if Simon end up going to this B bomb site, could certainly be quite deadly.
And we'll tell. 50 seconds left. Everything seems to be in place for the CTs right now. This is their opportunity. Neelan will manage to find one. Groovy and Oscar both coming in though. Not looking too good. That's an orbit. Oh, does get 2. Furlan the only one left in the 1 versus 1. Kios trying to deal with him, but the bomb down in no man's land is certainly going to be hard here. Not looking good at all. 20 seconds and has got to get through the smoke, has got to find a way in. Something needs to go his way right now. He gets his hands onto an AK, does Furlan, but Kios slowly but surely creeping round and Furlan gets the better of him. The Force Spy is indeed won by the CT side. Goodness gracious me, it begins again.
Just when you think Simon can have what it takes to allow a comeback to come through, that happens. And, well, they're just slapped back into reality after winning that pistol. Oh, my goodness. I'm looking at the buy and I'm thinking, right, XCOM HO, they're up to 11-6. On the CT side, they've got an AK out. They've got a pretty good buy. It's a force coming out from Simon. This could be a 13-6 if they can convert it.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way. But the big if, to be honest, these two teams have really struggled against these types of buys historically. A little bit of underpass control coming in, but not an awful lot to contend with at middle. It's a very passive mid hold, and I think that's fair enough. You don't want to be taking a stray Deeg bullet to the face. Ooh, Groovy getting aggressive. That was certainly a risky one, but it works out for him. Mo gonna go down. That's an avenue of attack deleted away from the T side of things, and now starting to encroach a bit more in towards middle. There's one in window. Groovy doesn't care. MP9 is incredibly effective in his hands. He's robbed of his 4K there, but it looks good. Neelan, the only one left in a 1v5. So, not expecting very much at all here from Simon. And there you have it. XCOM HEO putting themselves in a pretty decent position early on into the second half.
Hey, that was really nice from Groovy. It's not even the fact that he gets nice kills, but it's the confidence that they have to say, you know what, we can take the fight. Yeah, we're up against a Force by upgraded Deagle round, but that's all right. Like, you know, we don't care. We've got the confidence to go for it, and it's a great stance to be in. That they're kind of playing a no fear kind of response that we're seeing from the Poles, and Well, now, no money in the bank. It's pretty much just a harsh eco to come out. They could just hope for a bomb plant at best, but you can't even expect that to come through.
Yeah, it is certainly going to be a tough one for them. Any damage is good damage kind of deal, and like you say, if they steal a bomb plant, brilliant, but not looking too likely. Flash comes over the top. Scope to F3. The M4 only going to get one. Okay, got to be careful here, folks. MHL's doing a fair amount of work. 2 rifles being dropped is pretty big, and they do get the bomb plant. It's a decent result. MHL gets himself a 4K, so he loves it for the stats. But that is fairly costly for XCOM AGO in a lot of different ways.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's pretty good. That's actually a really great round. They get that bomb down, and well, they get a couple of kills, so probably a little bit more than they expected to. I'm trying to keep the money low for the City side, but it comes down really, Scriv, to this round. This is do or die for Simon. This is their last chance to establish a comeback on the T side, and even if we see a few rounds in a row, it's just got to be so much more. I mean, it's 7 to equalize at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit mental. It is a bit mental. They've got an awful lot of pressure on their shoulders. See whether Simon performed well under it. Trying to get some control of ramp, not quite going to work out. Norbit continues pushing forwards, and he will fall. Chunks of damage done to XCOM AGO, but giving them the first pick as easily as that is really not the way that they want to start this comeback train.
And KDO, they actually don't know he's actually pushed this far up aggressive in through the apartment. So they have a bit of a sneaky play, but I mean, Groovy, he's really having such a great map at the moment. It's been at least a while that I've seen that Groovy's been able to have this kind of a standout performance. And it's great to see that it's one of the veteran players to do so. Nealon, oh, can't even find anything. That's the bomb drop script. Oh, and Ferlin follows up with 2. Everything is going the way of the AGO side.
Absolutely massive. KDO does get one, but ultimately to no avail. Oscarish also standing strong. And the 14th in for XCOM AGO. They look set to clean this map up as quickly as possible. Their opponent's map pick, their individuals looking really good, and we go into the most individually based map next. The formula is here. The formula is absolutely here right now for the boys over on XCOM AGO.
2 more rounds is all that will be necessary. MHL with this AWP does take a little bit of a blind shot, and well, for the T side, they're grouped up out through mid at the moment. Just seeing if they can find something with it. And, well, Groovy, once again, it is a 1-for-1 trade of 2 for 2. Ferlin not going to quite go down. Kios, the last one left. And I'll tell you what, Scriv, they actually have been able to do a lot of damage on these, like, eco rounds where they upgrade pistols. But it seems like for the gun rounds, you're not getting the full package. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
I think so. It is wild. They seem very disheartened and just not really come to play today, right? A quick game against Hellraisers. A poor showing on their own map here as well. There are some big issues right now in the SYMAN camp. I think they do need to go away and work on their maps massively. Mirage is a map that you should be bringing close a lot of the time, unless you're completely outmatched, but it does seem that there's a lot of you know, flat-footedness coming in from SYMAN. Really unsure what is happening, to be honest with you. It's very, very weird. They rush out onto B, though. We'll see what they can get done here. Oscarish is the only one left as he loses his teammate ever so slightly over on short to the utility. And here we are, an advantage for SYMAN. Another kill coming in onto Ferlin. 4 versus 2. Looking good. I feel like, sure, they've got a bit of cash saved up, but they probably just look to save here on the CT side. They do indeed. So there you have it. SYMAN, it's an awfully long road, but they managed to get the first step.
That's a great round. You know, fast into that B bomb side, we see Oscarich just completely exposed and just gets wrapped around for the bench players. And I'd like to see more from that from SYMAN, and it's a little bit disappointing we haven't seen more from them in terms of success so far on this map. And you're right, I mean, Mirage is kind of one of those maps which is a bit of a staple ground. You know, even when teams don't have a lot of tactical depth, you can almost always see some sort of competitiveness coming out, and really, Yeah, look, they've looked pretty poor today, getting slapped in that first best of one, and now in this map pick and Mirage. Yeah, I don't know. They certainly a lot of things to touch up on, and at least for them, you know, they can't cut a break at the moment. They get a very nice round to get their 7th, but they've still got to get 8 more just to get to overtime.
Yeah, again, it's one of those situations where, for any caliber of team, this is a difficult call. It's going to be incredibly hard. It is going to be incredibly hard. A couple more to go as well. That CT side economy is pretty decent, and MHL hitting shots like that. Oh no, looking to end the game here and now. He has been playing so very well, and it continues for XCOM AGO. They're riding on a high right now, and this is a great way, if they are able to convert the round and end the first map, this is a great way to steal it away from your opponents. Absolutely fantastic stuff. We enter into the 5 versus 3, and SYMAN are without ideas. They do not know where to go. They are completely stumped right now.
Even that top consumate getting a little bit of a gap to work with. MHL not going to be the next man to find a kill. It is going to be Ostrich. But you got to think now for SYMAN, this is pretty much all but over. They have not even been, like, they've done 4 points of damage. Not a single kill comes through. 16-7. Well, for AGO's sake, Scriv, mate, that was looking pretty good. I'm actually very impressed by the Polar Stars. I mean, MHL, you know, what's so impressive is how young he is. Only 18 years old, and really, him and Groovy just had so much impact on Mirage. They were having a field day. And for SYMAN, you got to think, mate, going forward, like, where do we even go from here? Like, do we even see this second map being competitive? It's disappointing.
It really is. It really is. And it's kind of surprising. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer for them. You know, AGO definitely had the potential to kind of upset them. But I think we both came into it and they have like this ceiling and we know what they're capable of, but they're just not hitting it right. They are miles away. You know, if you want to go the opposite way, they're so far deep into the earth right now. It's really not looking good. And yeah, some core fundamental issues that really should not be coming out in that way on a map like Mirage. I don't know. It's absolutely wild to me. But yeah, Groovy, Furlan, MHL, all of them looking incredibly strong there for AGO. And that is worrying. We go into Dust 2, which is an individually based map. I don't know if you've got anything else to add, but just wildly, wildly weak from SYMAN.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that scoreline says it all. 16-7. And, well, honestly, I don't know where you go from here. For the SYMAN side, maybe just, you know, having a bit of a chat in the comms and just saying, right, guys, like, what do we need to do? What do we need to try and fix? Obviously, you don't have a lot of time between maps to be able to implement new things and try new tactics and things like that. But maybe just going over to Dust 2 and kind of playing like a no confidence, like heaps of confidence, maybe just like a no respect style of play. But yeah, honestly, I do not have great signs going forward from SYMAN. I was expecting that they were going to come out of the gates on Mirage firing on all cylinders. And well, that certainly was not the case at all. But, I mean, while the players get a little bit of a break, we'll have a little bit of a break as well. So we're going to go to a short little commercial break and be back with Dust 2, the second map of the series. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are going to be getting into our second map pretty quickly here. We've got, of course, AGO up against SYMAN with a pretty quick finish on that first map, it has to be said. AGO, a map they don't play in the form of Mirage. It was Simon's pick, and Simon really not performing very well. We've been having chats, you know, in between the map there while we were just waiting, and it is disappointing to see a team that we know has such a high ceiling and they get absolutely ripped apart on their own map pick. Now coming into Dust 2, where we had the likes of Groovy and Furlan and MHL, the AWPer looking so good for AGO, you really do start to worry for Simon that this might possibly be a quick 2-0 going against them.
Yeah, no, certainly will do in my books. I mean, you know, one thing that I suppose Scriv mentioned a little bit earlier on, this is a team that have been to like a major. They went to the Challenger stage at Berlin last year, and you get to the fact now, and it's like, right, okay, you know, that was pretty decent in the back end of last year. What's going wrong now? Like, how are we just getting dispatched by tier 2 teams in online leagues in pretty dominating fashions? We saw 16-7 on the first map, Mirage. We're going to Dust 2. It's going to be AGO's map pick. I think Simon are in for a rough series.
Yeah, it definitely does look that way, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. They play a fair amount of Dust 2 as well. It's not a map that they're completely foreign to, but AGO, I feel like it is a bit of a home map for them, at least, you know, in their top 3 for sure. And as we said, their individuals looking really good as you see the lineups here on your screen. It's the top 3, really, and that's kind of the order that they were in, actually. So it's very nice that the lineup works out to give the full picture. And yeah, just absolutely unstoppable, to be honest. The A defense on that CT side was looking solid because of MHL being so consistent. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, we did have Norbit performing, right, looking good, but Mo is the one, again, you kind of look towards. His AWPing was present, but it wasn't as strong as we needed it to be. And coming into Dust 2, if it is at the same poor level, it's really going to be costly.
It absolutely is. I mean, we saw, well, Groovy was having such a great time in that city side, aggressing and finding a lot on the entry kills. MHL was very consistent with that AWP, but yeah, you're right for Simon. You know, it was a pretty poor performance individually from a lot of the players, and especially Mo. You know, there were certainly some times where, yeah, he was hitting a couple of shots here and there, but nowhere near on a consistent level in comparison to someone like MHL. So, look, going forward, yes, Dust 2, it's very aim heavy, and maybe it can come out as a little bit of surprise, and maybe we can see Simon coming into their own. But even that, they didn't look individually very sharp. You know, they weren't hitting those crazy shots. They weren't winning out those crazy aim duels. And you got to think from Dust 2, that is going to make their time even more tough.
Indeed. Well, here we go into the 9th round. We are rubbing our hands together in delight as we get into the map as quickly as possible, nice and short on the pregame. That's what we like, you know, it's good to talk, but of course, we like to start the game as well. You know, it's not under our control, right? Most of it's down to the players. Cast to start games, a classic meme, but we're getting into things as they are indeed ready in good time. So kudos to the players for that, particularly to Simon. It can be hard to stomach such a heavy loss. They lose the 9th round out here, so it will be XCOM Ego picking the sides, which is interesting to see, considering it is their map pick as well, where they actually decide to go.
Yeah, and they're going to pick the T side by the looks of things on Dust 2. And I suppose probably Dust 2 and Vertigo, like the only 2 maps in the map pool at the moment that kind of offer an advantage starting up on T side, considering like you can certainly get off to some great starts. You know, you get the economy rolling, you keep resetting the city side, you get off to some very good leads in the end of the half. And well, it looks like that's what the Polish team are going to decide to go for. And I mean, at least it's a little bit more difficult to get aggressive on the city side of Dust 2. To be fair, though, when we saw Nordvin playing this map a little bit earlier today, they were very aggressive up towards mid, through short on the city side, out through the lower tunnels. So there certainly can be some very aggressive stuff to come out on the CT side. So I'll be interested to see whether any of that is utilized by the Simon squad. But yeah, going into this, AGO, seeing if they can get off to a good start. And if I'm pointing out anyone for AGO to get some momentum going, it's got to be Groovy, right? I mean, he was doing so much work with the rifles, finding so many opening kills, just finding so many confidence in those aim duels.
Looking good in the warm-up here as well on the AWP, so seems to be still effective for him, but definitely on the T side as well, right? I feel for me it was Furlan having a little bit more of an impact, and MHL massively on that CT side. Didn't get to see as much of him because it didn't last as long, right? But Groovy on the T side, I think he was like 14 and 5 at one point, something like that, right? He looked pretty insane, and was opening up an awful lot, had the confidence to work by himself, so that's something that they could do, you know, send him to be as that lurk presence to possibly even open up the bomb site. So a lot of things to look towards from AGO to see whether they repeat themselves here coming into Dust 2. SYMAN, meanwhile, we need to see a revitalization from them because it was not the best first map. I like this, though. Confident up middle. They are not knocked. They are not shook. They've got some great ideas. Nade comes in, doesn't do an awful lot of damage. Norbit will open up to take down Oscarish, and it looks like they might get a bit more bang for their buck as well. However, this has perhaps left the B-bomb site a little vulnerable, and the kills coming in. It's a little wild. It's hard to tell who's winning. There's kills for the CT side in at mid and at long and whatnot, but the B-bomb site itself has fallen.
At least they get a bomb plant. It's a bit of an insurance policy, but into the 2 versus 2. Oh, Fiku and Groovy making this work. And well, that was a bit of an interesting pistol round. It's certainly not the way AGO wanted it to go. And it all comes off the back of SYMAN getting very aggressive up through mid. And what happens? They find an opening pick, and the B defender of Chaos gets very aggressive. And as soon as he goes down, he spotted out the bomb. AGO have to commit to that B bomb site, and it wasn't the cleanest of pistol rounds, but it did go their way in the end. But the force buy coming out from SYMAN. A couple of scouts to work for on Dust 2. You can see that pretty commonly coming out from both Norbit and Mo.
Lovely stuff. Oscarish gonna pick up the fallen scout, see if there's anyone still lingering around. Not going to be the case, though. Still could have an effect into this round. But the Deegs and the Scouts, deadly combination in general, but coming onto a map like Dust 2 can be very hard to deal with. We'll see now how XCOM AGO respond. And, of course, cast your mind back to Mirage. Both halves saw an incredibly back and forth beginning. Norbit, that's a great shot onto Oscarish. 5 on 3. Now it looks a little less recoverable. Oh, another coming in. The patience paying off. Look at this. The Scout of Norbit doing all the work. 4 on 2. It's AKs remaining. They've got limited utility. Their position's going to be known. The tag's coming in. Neelam will fall. But surely they've done enough to let these rotators pick up the round.
Yeah, you'd certainly think so, considering how low Furlan is. All it will take is just one shot with that scout to the body. But Furlan does take down another member. Now this is getting quite interesting for the T side, but Fiku is the last one left. And he's in a 1 versus 2. He's got the bomb. He can go fast to this B bomb site. Oh my goodness, what a duel coming out.
He fight to be winning as well. The Scout sure kind of cares that he's on low HP, but it's not like it's a fully automatic weapon. Maybe the info is in for Mo. Will he swap to his pistol? These are the types of decisions that may well make the difference. He does have his pistol out. Does have a kit available. No information to work with, no utility for both sides either, so this is all coming down to the wire, all coming down to who lands the shots. Mo pre-firing, making a lot of noise. Fiku trying to hide away as best he possibly can in the tightest angle possible. Will Mo expect this? That is the question. Oh, nice little shoulder peek. Knows where he's at. Surely finds him. Does indeed. And the defuse will come in just in time, thanks to the kit. And there you have it. The force buy, once again, is successful.
Yeah, there we are. That's a great round coming out from SYMAN, and well, great jiggle peek coming out from Mo, trying to get the information of exactly where that last cheeky member is. And for AGO, I mean, it's a kind of a good recovery, right? They get a bomb plant, considering the fact how many kills those scouts had, and they try to bring back a 2 versus 5 at one point. So considering they turn it into a 1 versus 1 and get a bomb down, it's actually not a bad round at all from AGO. They will certainly be disappointed that they weren't able to convert it, but Fiku, well, at least he takes the first member down.
Yeah, you never know. It might work out for them again. Those B doors, of course, flipped around. Norbit will win the fight, as it's still an unfamiliar angle for a few players here.
It's open. They just completely counter-rotate.
Huh. Yeah, that's certainly a risky one. A lot of damage coming as well. Like Nade doing a little bit more. The Molotov is key. Keeps them at bay and allows time for the rotations. And obviously, I think the T side not really going to recognize how open A actually is. Awkward fights here for Kios. Got to be careful. That's the entire team. Does manage to find one. But he and Groovy... Okay, Groovy died to a team kill. I was going to say that's a little bit weird. The T side killing Groovy. That's actually going to make a massive difference.
That turns it into a 2-on-3. Norbert in a pretty good position to try and shut this round down. At least a bomb plan needs to come through for the AGO side, and Mulfiku, he's going to be the last one left. 1 versus 3 attempt trying to come out from him, and yeah, I suppose the players of the City side are tagged up, but that bomb drops into the middle of short, running out of time. He's got the scout on his back. On for the ace at this point, now turning this into a 1 versus 2. I tell you what, a couple of deagle shots coming out. This is certainly doable. Oh, he tries to over-aggress, get on top of the boxes. Another round coming out from SYMAN. These rounds are so down to the wire.
Yeah, it seems to be continuing, right? These two teams really struggling against the force buys and whatnot early on in the game. So that's definitely something to walk away from, whether you win or lose. That it needs a bit of work. That's what we're here for, the excitement. It will be SYMAN to come out on top of the force buy wars, however, and AGO fully ecoing things out. Maybe an upgraded pistol in there. There is a deagle for Fiku, but ultimately it should be a third for SYMAN pretty easily on the board, especially with that opener from Kios.
And for the Poles, really, seeing if they could just find even a single kill would be nice. Bit of an overextension coming out for the CTs. Seeing if they can get quite aggressive to try and shut this round down. And it should be a pretty easy third round going the way of the CIS core. Nealon just walking up towards mid, and well, the long control has come through, but they probably won't be able to get a bomb through. They will try and boost MHL over, but they're not successful in doing so. Good shot coming out from Fiku, but in the end, the trade comes out. 4 players staying alive, and a third round now going the way of SYMAN.
Right, starting to get a bit of momentum going. Economy not looking too bad either, so XCOM AGO need to get that foot back in the door sooner rather than later. It is starting to perhaps run away from them a little bit. Time will tell. No AWP out, interestingly enough, for the T side. I don't think they would have been able to afford one with utility, so kind of fair enough. They've got an idea and opting not to take the fights against the AWP, and maybe rightly so. Nice bit of aggression from Mo coming in, sees the flashbang, trying to spot the head. He himself has been spotted. The tag lands onto Furlan, and he's able to make it away. So a quick little exchange results in just a bit of damage.
There is a boost coming up here from Nealon to try and look over towards that Xbox and short position. But all in all, I mean, SYMAN goes with some pretty aggressive stances out towards the beginning of the round, and they get forced quite passively. A little bit of damage going down to Furlan, but all in all, not really much map control coming through outside of the mid face. Nothing really out towards long, nothing in the upper tunnels. AGO just taking their time on the default at the moment.
Yeah, very slow stuff coming in. Oscarish, hello.
What?
Okay. Bit weird. Might see him drop from the server in a second. He's also a -1 kill, by the way. Or maybe he was just kind of, I guess I'll die, you know, and not really thinking he could make it out. Either way, another kill coming in. 5 versus 3. Furlan low from the earlier exchanges. On the edges of smokes, players crept into Xbox and actually going to win the fight against one Ruby as well. Seemingly going down. A little bit weird here. I'm not sure if there's something going awry in the XCOM AGO camp.
Certainly
Ruby getting completely caught off guard.
Yeah, no, they must be having a net issue or something. I mean, Groovy was just staring at the wall out through the lower tunnels, because they might be playing in the team house. Like, they might be playing all together rather than, you know, at home in the comfort of their own home. So I'm just guessing, just considering the fact that Ostrich, he did not react at all. He just completely stood there in the flames, and then Groovy's just staring at a wall. So unfortunately, you know, that's some of the things, right, with like online Counter-Strike, you know. Sometimes things like that happen, and you know, you got to deal with it. And well, at least for SYMAN, getting off to a great start, 4 rounds in a row on the City side of Dust 2. It is a little bit comical that it's -1 kills coming out for Ostrich.
Yeah, you can definitely give them the benefit of the doubt with like the one player. Maybe it's a weird decision, but yeah, it would make sense. So hopefully not going to be waiting too long here. Seems like we are just waiting for them to kind of time out and reconnect and whatnot. So Groovy has dipped. Oscarish still around, who's kind of the main culprit here. Oh, okay. Lost a different player than we were expecting. So there you are.
Not dinner time just quite yet.
Yeah, they've got a bit more work to do before they earn their meals, of course. But while we have a moment, give a little shout out to the boys. Hellcase, our primary case sponsor, of course. Be sure to check them out. Got a lot of competitions going on right now, over 100 cases to get involved with as well. And LootBet have got that offer down below. Using the panels and in the chat, you can get involved with the 10 free spins as well as the €100 bonus deposit on top of your deposit. Malta V15, by the way, forgot to mention for Hellcase as well, to get 15% bonus refill. So good stuff. Thanks to them. I suppose might as well go through everybody else as well. You know,
Yeah,
we've got Gaming Malta. Providing the home of gaming excellence, and Grid as well, the boys from Grid. We all know Grid, the data provider, getting those stats looking good.
Have you ever been to Malta before, Scriv?
I have actually with these guys way back when, in 2018.
Oh, that is a far gone conclusion. That is quite some time ago.
Yeah, it was. I think it was my first international LAN, and it was very cool. It was very cool. I'm kind of jealous these guys. So the winner of this, you know, obviously get the 40k prize pool, but or the lion's share of, but also kind of the boot camp. I think that's part of where
the big thing. Yeah.
Eden are coming in to provide Malta as this really cool location. And it is. If it's the same hotel, I'm pretty sure it's the same hotel we stayed at. It was pretty sick. And it's kind of in this area that, you know, is built up with the entertainment district, as it were, of St. Julian's, I believe, the city that it's in. So
lovely. Yeah, boot camps are really important. I mean, especially, you know, coming from like the Oceanic region, like we didn't really get a lot of boot camps, especially for a lot of our teams and players. So anytime, you know, we'd get an invite or like a qualification spot for like a European event or a North American event, like a boot camp is just, it's so impactful. It's so important. You can learn like 2 weeks worth of online stuff in one day on a boot camp because you're right there, you're next to one another, you know, you can use hand signals. Like it's just a completely different environment, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is, and I think that's part of what, you know, AGO are trying to go for. Seems like they have half the team, you know, staying together and whatnot, but clearly not as good as it could be, you know, because they've had a few internet issues holding them back. Coming into some key rounds as well, where SYMAN are starting to gain a big lead. They want to be fighting back as soon as possible, and really, you know, all this waiting and whatnot when you're ready and raring to go can certainly slow you down a bit, or maybe you forget the strategy and you've got to go over it again. You don't quite get it as clean as you did the first time.
You know what, Scriv? I haven't mentioned it before, but like I'm liking the beard, mate. How long's that been going for?
Thanks, man. Since lockdown, I normally have it like kind of short.
Yeah, you know, it's a lot longer than I've normally
seen
it. Yeah.
But I've just let it go. My hair as well is kind of I was in the camp of, you know, I was going to go for a haircut next week, and then obviously the government was like, no one's allowed to leave. So very poor timing from myself on that. Kind of need a haircut, but I don't know. I've had a lot of compliments on the beard, so maybe I will keep it. Maybe I will keep it. You know? I'm liking the short hair as well. Do you do that yourself, or?
I did. Yeah, got a nice pair of clippers for like, you know, 20 quid. You know, get that online. Just shave it myself. Do it every like 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know if I'll continue it because I'm not like a massive fan of it. But considering the circumstances with all like the hair, like the barbershop's closed, I was like, probably makes sense. I'm not a fan of long hair. So I was like, I'll just go for the, you know, complete shave, do it yourself, DIY stuff. The first couple of cuts...
Convenient, isn't it?
It is very convenient. No, it is certainly. Like, when I first did it, I got to be honest, I was pretty rubbish at it. Like, I could not get, like, the line straight and everything. And I think I've done it like 3 or 4 times now. So, each time it was getting better and better. But yeah, I'm waiting for all the barbershops to open up again. They get proper cut.
Yeah, pretty much. It's coming, hopefully. You know. But yeah, I think it might be a while, unfortunately, before the rest of the world kind of opens up and whatnot to travel. And we're seeing, unfortunately, ESL saying that they're apprehensive about Cologne and
Yeah, for sure.
all this kind of stuff. So tough times at the moment, but we're getting through. We're adapting. The online Counter-Strike looks like it is going to be at the forefront for a little while longer.
And I've got a bit of information here, Scriv. I'm being told that the previous round will be replayed. 2 players timed out when no one got damaged. So we'll back up to 3-1. So I suppose when Oscarich timed out, there obviously must have not been any damage that came through.
Yeah, and they must have called it
like straight away and they just played the round out. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is absolutely fair enough. Appreciate the update, as I'm sure everybody in the chat as well feels the same. But yeah, so in a way, working out a little bit for XCOM AGO, it was a pretty strong buy from them, if I remember correctly. So that's absolutely fair enough. Maybe if they were on the eco, they would have been like, yeah, whatever. But it's potentially a round where they're able to turn things upside down. So we'll take a look and see, eh?
And yeah, I mean, like they can be happy with that. Obviously, being the round replayed, like you said, like if it was an eco, it can kind of be like, oh, okay, we probably wouldn't have been able to find much with it anyway. But considering it was a full rifle round, you can that round not being replayed can certainly play like quite a big importance in terms of the overall map. But I suppose in like the few rounds that we've seen, SYMAN have really come out of the gate firing, which is kind of a good sign to see. I got to be honest, I certainly did not think that we would see too much presence from them going into Dust 2, but it seems like we're at least being proved wrong, which is a great sign, which is good to see that, maybe SYMAN want to try and take us to a third map and want to see if they can, keep their hopes alive.
Definitely needs to be something they consider, right, and not get too pent up. That's kind of one of the things as well, where maybe they are in a bit of a looser stage and in a bit of a okay, this current game plan is not working massively. We need to spend some time and practice, but we can't do that right now. And you just kind of have that carefree, like you say. I think you mentioned during the pre-game for this map where you said, no respect. Yeah, is very much the vibe that they need to come in with, and that certainly seems to be the case right now, and it's working pretty damn well, at least initially. So definitely getting to that stage where they could possibly start running away with things. XCOM AGO, I wouldn't say like a lifeline. It's kind of a weird one, right? Like, because if they didn't have 2 players playing, then surely they lose the round. But another opportunity at this buy round, they need to be picking it up and stopping SYMAN from really getting a strong advantage early on.
And I mean, it's probably like a moment of respite as well for the players to kind of take a bit of a break. Maybe stretch out, get something to drink. Maybe just kind of calm down a little bit and kind of feel a little bit revitalized going into when we start the game up. And it's always a bit of a shame when players drop and we get these technical issues, but it's all in the business. It's something that happens on a consistent basis, so players are used to it. But for SYMAN, I mean, to be fair, they'll probably be, I don't know if they'll be annoyed, but they'll be pretty frustrated because, well, they had 3 rounds in a row, like they were gaining momentum. They won the 4th round. Yes, it's going to get replayed, but, if we just kept going rather than having a pause, now like all the momentum's been stopped.
Yeah, it really does have an impact, particularly when it is of this kind of length, taking a while to get back into things and you're having to wait and there's a little bit of an unknown element to it. So it can be sort of frustrating that things are really, really slowing down, and you just don't quite know when to go forward. Do you keep talking about a strat, like you say? Do you go and do something else? Will you then be the problem that you're not around and everyone gets annoyed at you for not being at your desk on time? There's an awful lot that comes into it. But hopefully we'll see a bit of a return. We've got Groovy and Oscarish in. We're missing MHL at the moment, which is curious, because he didn't seem, at least initially, maybe he did, but he didn't seem to be having any problems in the round.
Maybe they are just all playing together then. Maybe it is that...
Yeah, bit of a trickle effect or something.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could be like a hurricane or something. I remember one game recently we were casting online, and just a player, like a hurricane went over this guy's house and just like completely blacked out the whole city. Luckily, he had a backup generator, so we're still able to get the game going. But yeah, I suppose you've got like natural events as well. High winds sometimes, you know, rain, like torrential rain sometimes just like disrupts all the net and what have you. And you know what would really suck is if, you know, MHL was like gone for good, like they had to get a substitute in.
Yeah, that would definitely be difficult.
That would be rough because, well, MHL is just, he's so impactful for this team.
Well, not a terrible amount of update in terms of where MHL is at. Hopefully we can get a bit of information on that, but it does seem, unfortunately, everyone's a bit up in the air, a little bit unsure. Only time will tell. It's kind of difficult as well. We start, you know, early on in the game and have an issue like this. There's less content to talk about, you know. There's not as much that's been going on. We're trying to draw real world things, you know, the life in lockdown and all that kind of stuff. The hopes. Usually the way this works with me is, you know, you start talking about things that are not Counter-Strike related, and then the game seems to start back up. But
not quite this time around. Yeah,
unfortunately not. It does seem like we've got a bit of an extended issue for AGO, which again sucks in a lot of different ways, and hopefully they can come back from, you know, in the sense that that fifth player returns and it doesn't affect their game plan too much.
What are your thoughts on Fiku's knife, by the way?
It's a bit of a mess, isn't it?
It is a bit, yeah. Maybe if you go to, you know, Hellcase, you might be able to like upgrade that. Getting some nice skins there. But yeah, no, that's. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to have a knife like that. I mean, that's proper battle scarred. That is. I'm guessing that's the knife, I believe.
I think so, yeah, because the handle doesn't seem to have any purple on it, so.
Yeah, not quite the ultraviolet.
It's hard to tell. If you inspected, I think we'd get a full idea, but, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I've always been a fan of kind of like the cleaner, sometimes just the default knives, you know? I think they can look really good.
Have you got one yourself, Scrooge?
Not had one for a while. Okay, all right. Well, it does seem we're going to throw us across to a little commercial break, guys. An extended issue here, unfortunately. Do stick with us. Be patient. We'll bring you updates as soon as we can. But for now, we'll see you after the break. All right, welcome back. We are going to be getting into the action then. They have sorted everything out. Hopefully should be on the server seeing what's going down as AGO have got all their players reconnected. Yes, let's go. So here we are with a replay of the round. Straight back into the action. We'll see what XCOM AGO are going to come in with. It looks like a long rush Dweg. They are not messing around, getting super aggressive, looking to try and find a way into this round. They've got the long control. Unfortunately, no frags as yet.
Oh, this is a lot more aggressive than what we saw when this round, well, was replayed the first time, I suppose. And, well, for XCOM AGO, they can just line up the cross smokes and just try and commit out through long into this A bomb site. They don't have a single lurk out towards kind of mid or short or anything like that, so it is at least a bit of an information gathering play coming out from SYMAN. Even with Mo, the AWP doesn't see anything towards the pit, but there are 3 players here, and it's a pretty good read, especially with KDO. He's already pushed through the apartments. They know, of the upper tunnels, I should say, so they know it has to be an A player.
This could be absolutely deadly, to be honest, looking at these angles. Really need to be careful here on the AGO side of things. 45 seconds thereabouts remaining. The execute going to come over the top. Nice little cross smoke from far away. However, Mo is still able to play above them. They really have to be wary of him. Misses that flick. Has to drop back. And, well, a teammate smoke seems to be in his way in on the site there. Maybe not going to be able to do as much as he wanted. Trying to play below it. So many flashes coming in. Such an awkward exchange here, but it's going heavily in favor of SYMAN. Looking very, very good indeed. Furlan can't find anything. And that's a relatively flawless hold coming in from Mo and Kios.
It just comes down to, it's too slow. They take that long control, and they're waiting and waiting and waiting, and KDO, well, he just pushes out through B to the upper tunnels, and they go, right, well, it has to be A. They can stack up 3 players there. They have 1 out towards the lower tunnels, 1 out through short, and yeah, I mean, very simple round coming out from SYMAN. A lot of counter utility. I mean, you saw how many flashes came out. There was so many players blind. But, well, the same scoreline, 4-1. And it will just be the half bar investment. Just a couple of upgrades on the eco round coming out from the XCOM AGO side. Seeing if they can find anything.
Ooh, Kios, 1 HP. Trickiest son of a gun you ever did see. Nice little 1D coming from MHL. Okay, and Furlan going to find a quick frag on the Deeg. 1 versus 4 overall required for him. Great little angle here, but oh, I thought KDO was going to find it because he was just being a bit too slippery. Not going to be the case. This now becomes a bit more interesting. Armor for Furlan. Good amount of utility in an M4. And Kios is on 1 HP. This could be very troublesome. However, I don't think he's going to be expecting the aggressive position. The molly will do it, though. Oh, he's going to opt not to use it. Smoke coming in. He should have used the Molotov, but Mo finds the headshot regardless of the fact. Still a lot of damage done, though.
No, it's not a bad round at all. Like you said, being able to pick up that rifle, he gets 3 kills across the whole team. And now we go into the rifle round, and SYMAN, I mean, so far they've got off to a very good start up on this city side. This is now 5 rounds in a row from them, looking to see if they can extend their lead even further. And for the Poles, they need to find a round victory here. This is all important, especially on the rifle round. MHL with the AWP out towards mid. Hasn't seen anything just quite yet, but Mo might overextend.
Ooh. Meanwhile at long, Mo's position not going to be too much of an issue there because they managed to find the opening pick, and maybe he has a bit more room to get aggressive. Oh, the crack angle. They're not giving him the peak that he wants, though. Jumping over it, in fact. But there's still a man down here on the T side. XCOM AGO not having the best of starts to Dust 2. SYMAN really giving them the runaround at the moment. And once again, another recovery required with limited utility here from the T's. It'll be a hard time.
And, well, even the map control is just not there, but the overextension comes out from the CT side, but they have not spotted out in orbit. This could be the round-winning play. He's going to spot out that bomb as well. He's going to get so much information, trying to tap away, and, well, straight away, they get that man advantage back. At least they know where the AWP is from MHL. But SYMAN are in such a great position. MHL's now with 2 kills, has brought it back once again.
Yeah, but the bomb, right, needs to be recovered. Mo holding things down here and looking to deny the recovery. Perfect stuff. Wasn't mollied out. Meanwhile, KDO capitalizing on a distracted Oscarish. will leave MHL all by himself. 1 versus 3, the only one to have found any frags. And it looks like he's going to save his AWP into the next round. So there you have it. SYMAN really, really looking good and completely revitalized here compared to the first map. So very impressive stuff in that sense. And good for them that they're able to bounce back so effectively.
It's great to see. It really is. And you've got to be thinking for XCOM AGO, the back of their minds are like, come on, guys. Like, we've got to get a start here. We've really got to start to claw some rounds in. Because it's not been easy. The only round they were able to get was the pistol, but other than that, that's been it. And, well, you can see the odds here from Lootbat. 1.3 up for the SYMAN camp. Hellcase as well. Fantastic partners of Malta Vibes. Using code MaltaV to get a little bit of extra money on your account. And MaltaV15 for a 15% refill bonus. Some great partners that are making all this possible. And a tactical timeout for XCOM AGO. Considering how much of a timeout we just had before, now they've got at least a bit of time to kind of think things over, realize, okay, what do we need to do here? Because we're just getting slapped at the moment.
Yeah, and I think they were certainly not expecting this, right? It's very strange indeed. Feel like they were hoping, particularly with winning the knife round, starting on the T side, that they were going to have everything going for them. Their map pick. Beautiful stuff. Long rush coming in though. This might just catch a couple players off guard. Actually, great flashes over the top. MHL able to pick up though. It's a little all over the place right now. Long under heavy contention, and Neelan's got to make it away here. He needs to stay alive, and he will. Still though, an even kind of trade overall is a pretty damn good result for XCOM AGO. Maybe they can make this work.
Well, Ostrich has got armor, so especially with him with the AWP's actually not a bad option. I mean, Groovy's got, well, all of them have got armor, so the fact they've been able to pick up 2 rifles is obviously really going to help them. And they do have 2 smokes. They can get the cross smokes out to try and make their way to the A-bomb site. They do need to deal with Neelan. He's the only side defensive at the moment.
Oh. 1-for-1 trade again, not ideal for the CT side. They've lost the A control. The quick flank coming in from the remaining 2 SYMAN players, though. Are they going to be expecting this perfectly timed Molotov from Ostrich, or is it? They're ahead of it. He gets one. Could have had the collateral. Unfortunate for him that he doesn't get it. And now into the 1 versus 1. AK retrieved by Groovy. No head armor makes this M4 incredibly effective. Slowly but surely creeping in is Kioz. What's the game plan here? I think he's trying to spot out, line up a bit of utility. Did he see him there? It's hard to tell. The smoke in the way. Goodness me, gets the pre-fire though. I guess he did know. And there you have it. The 1 versus 1 won. The 7th round for SYMAN coming through. Another massive clutch as they will continue the tear.
That's actually really smart from Chaos, you know, turning that into the 1 versus 1 and just jump spotting for information to kind of see where that last remaining T player is. And Groovy getting taken down. It's a pretty expensive round. They get 4 kills, they get a bomb plant in a round that they really didn't have much. Probably can be disappointed they didn't convert it. I mean, in the 2-on-2, you probably look at it and think the T's have got a pretty decent chance of at least winning out this round. But let's see if they can just get something back. It is now 7 rounds in a row coming out for the SYMAN squad. Even Mo, look how aggressive he is with this. Oh, but he fires the opening pick, but the instant trade comes out.
Oh, no, Norbit. Getting a free one onto Ostrich, who's overzealous to throw the molly in. Left very low indeed, but not quite able to clean things up. 4 versus Ifiko as well, being tagged pretty heavily. The nade, not going to finish him off. He somehow survives. Left on 4 HP. Meanwhile, over at short, all this information coming through easily enough for KDO. Gets the straggler and isolating this final player as well. Beautifully done as Neelan will finish things off. An 8th round for SYMAN. It seems to be that XCOM AGO are getting a taste of their own medicine. Yeah,
they really are. They're not looking great at all, which is very disappointing. Certainly not the start on the T side that I certainly expected, considering the fact they won knife round. Like, they could have started CT, but they said, you know what, we're going to start T, we're going to get off to some good momentum, and well, that just has not happened at all. And just some upgraded pistols, a lot of utility out for the T side. Early presence going into the upper tunnels, and they made their way fast out towards lower. Mo's here with the AWP, and he's going to hear all this information.
able to work off of it as well, one would hope. Okay, does need to be careful, but could be all good. That's not that lineup. I suppose he's a little panicked though, in all fairness. Quick little dink coming into Neelan, left on 10 HP, so some decent damage done early on to one of the players, but Norbit, Kios holding things down. Beautiful little crossfire hit. Nice and easy, 2 quick kills. B-bomb site is ever so slightly isolated, but of course those flipped doors make it so much easier for Mo to come in and deny any kind of chance into this round. SYMAN with a 9th, looking absolutely unstoppable right now.
They really are, and I tell you what, they want to try and take the quickness into the 3rd map of the series by the looks of things. They are not messing around whatsoever. Now, if we do go to a 3rd map script, it will be Inferno, which we've already seen quite some bit so far today. So Inferno being the 2 maps in the opening best of ones. But really, for SYMAN, they are looking pretty good on the CT side. Really starting to build up that economy. Mo, in particular, is hitting some really great shots at the moment. And, well, that's his 15th. 15 and 3 for the AWPer for the CT side. Playing with a lot of confidence at the moment.
Yeah, which is great, because the impact that he had on Mirage just wasn't enough. Norbit going to get caught. A little too aggressive there. Kios trying to split up the attack. Oh, great little nade as well. Fiku does not know what's just hit him. And there you go. The advantage is regained. Really well done. It's not just the 1 or 2 players. They're all looking pretty good. Mo on that nasty angle, watching short, able to drop back. And, well, it was slightly under contention with the trade at long, but a solid advantage now for the CT side. Neelan creeping in behind. That's got to be the round, unless Oscarish can pull out something incredible. Not looking too likely at this point in time. But yeah, it definitely is strange. It really is strange. You talk about the side selection. I don't know, maybe their CT side's going to impress us a bit more. But then if this continues, they're not going to have a lot of room to work with on the CT side. That is for certain. Flank coming in. Ticking time bomb for Oscarish. Got to push forwards, and unfortunately he does not move. So Mo with a free kill. And the 10th round picked up.
You make a really good point there, Scriv. It's the fact that, yeah, maybe we can see some amazing things in that second half, but how many rounds are they realistically going to have to work here? I mean, it's looking like we could see 12 rounds, maybe 13 going up for SYMAN, because they're just looking so on point. Just finding so much success. Fika's the only man fragging for this Polish side. Other than that, it's very low numbers for the rest of them. Mo's got he's got to be over 100 ADR at least. Considering the fact that he's already got 17 kills. He's got a hell of a lot of kills. This is great stuff from him.
Yeah, that's very scary to see. And something I guess AGO have been missing in a big way. MHL really not stepping up in the way that we expected. Fiku's the one at the top end of the scoreboard, which is certainly, again, not what we expected. So seems to be a little weird to work with here from AGO. They themselves struggling ever so slightly. But we'll see. Quick rush coming in with the pistols. Taking a fair amount of damage there. I was going to say minimal damage moving out to long. But big chunk onto Oscarish. Not looking to fight here. Nice response, I think, from SYMAN in the sense that it's like, okay, they've got the pistols. Let's not fight them up close. Let's fight them at long range with the AWP. MHL takes a quick one to the face as Mo cannot miss right now. As hard as he tries, he just cannot. Landing each and every shot, it seems. Looking for a few more here as well. Seeks out for another, a third. Mo unstoppable. Will be taken down by Fiku, who recovers the dropped scout. So maybe Mo not expecting it, but the round itself, not a chance. SYMAN with the 11th. Goodness gracious me. This is really not what we were expecting. Another wild turnaround as SYMAN looked to take away AGO's map pick.
And I don't know. This is rough. This is 11 rounds in a row now for SYMAN. And you got to be thinking, for XCOM AGO, why did they even pick this map? It certainly seems that SYMAN are playing just so damn well. They're hitting pretty much every shot at the moment, winning out almost every single advantage. And AGO just not found an answer. They have struggled to find opening picks. They've struggled to even get site executions through holding on to any kind of an advantage. Even some of the clutches being won from Simon when it comes down to those cheeky 2-on-2s. Man, oh man. Even at this point that they win, let's just say, Screw, if they win every single round for the rest of the half, that's only going to give them 4 rounds on the T side.
Yeah. It's really a terrible position to be in. But we'll see. Maybe they can get something done here. There we go. Merlin checking all his angles. MHL to drop KDO. All right. Let's go. Maybe we should have seen them hit B before this, you know, at some point. 'Cause it does seem, to be honest, I think they were going A most of the time. Yeah, so nice and clean. Do need to be careful not to throw away too many players. Their economy can't really stomach that, but ultimately it should be the round for them. Retaking B in a 5-on-2 is impossible, I think it is safe to say.
And finally, we see a strong round coming out from AGO. And will they stop the streak? And they have stopped the streak at just 11 rounds in a row for Simon. And you're right, maybe a little bit more presence over to the B bomb site if we see some mid to B splits. We just see the straight B execution. But those entries, they looked good. And trade kills came out very nicely. But you got to think, one good round here, does that mean we're going to see any more?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question, right? And like you said at the start of that round before the hit came in, 4's the best they can hope for. So, I mean, it's not like it's going to be great. It's good to see that they are capable, but it's still going to be an incredibly steep uphill battle into this second half. It's just a question of how steep, really. You know, if they lose any more rounds, it starts to become more and more improbable. We'll see. A lot of early utility use. Simon are a little knocked, as you can see, not quite as confident. They put a lot more pressure on B this time around as well, which is something perhaps that AGO could exploit with a well-timed A execute. But this just seems to be the way that they play things. They either rush out long or they sit around middle and hope that someone peeks into them, and neither of those things have worked. I understand why they're not going B again, because, you know, very, 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 very quickly, Simon are going to realize that it's a problem, right? And look to plug that hole. But still, I don't know if I believe in what they've got here on their T side for the remainder of this half.
Well, it is the executions come out from short, and well, it's just going to be a retake setup coming out from Simon, having sort of 3 players around that B bomb site. They realise the fact, you know what, let's just go and retake it. Now, at least if they start pushing the long house, they're going to get information that there's no flank attempt coming through. But for XCOM AGO, they have retaken short, so it does going to make this retake a little bit more difficult for the city side.
Great positioning for MHL, manages to find one and drops back. Beautiful stuff. I don't know if they fully want to commit to this. Yeah, just getting absolutely mowed down. Sure, they've got the cash and it's the tail end of the half, but I mean, to be fair, they don't have the most amount of money in the world. So the next round should be okay. It's kind of a question of the final round of the half. If they end up losing the next, you know, may well have been an idea to save there. They didn't give themselves enough time, I don't think, in AGO. A small lifeline, again, to reiterate, right? 11-4 is a terrible scoreline, but it's a lot more workable than, you know, the potential 14-1 that we were looking at.
And what even is surprising is the fact that KDO's only been able to find 2 kills when Simon have already put up 11 rounds. But yeah, really it's just come down to Mo with this AWP. I suppose in the last couple of rounds he's been a little bit quiet. And well, the auto snipers are out trying to see if they can do any tag damage out through the mid doors, but unfortunately not. And I've taken the AWP from Mo actually over to the B side to kind of keep an eye on to Groovy. He's taken a hell of a lot of damage.
It's certainly not ideal. And they're responding quite well here on the Simon side. Taking control, I think it was something that they were missing in the previous round. They just kind of stacked more players on B. But actually fighting and trying to take control, their individuals seem to be playing a hell of a lot better than XCOM AGO's. Great flash coming in. And well, with Groovy on low HP, losing that player is actually incredibly detrimental to AGO's attack.
Where do you go from here? I mean, no control up towards the upper tunnels. They've got a late lurk coming out from Fiku out from long, but probably just a short commitment and try and see if they can group up with Fiku once they get on towards the site. Execution coming through. Simon have got 3 players here. No AWP to try and back it up. And 8 warps over towards that B-bomb site. Even the time's running low, and do they look to try and run boost that AWP over, or at least just try and see if they can see some information on the board, but it has not been seen. Finally, there it is seen, and Groovy has got the auto sniper. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I mean, low HP, might as well try and go for it, be a bit cheeky with it. A lot of the work going to come down to Furlan, and look at that, clean little headshot from him. Scoped weapon here for Groovy is certainly awkward. Somehow it's into the 2 versus 1, but KDO coming in at the perfect time. Groovy left on 6 HP. Oh, is there enough time to get the bomb plant? There isn't. And there goes the round. That's the half. And yeah, Groovy, the annoyed throw of his weapon onto the floor. 12-3. Incredibly surprising stuff. Sure, we had a bit of an extended pause in there, but that was very early on in the first half. XCOM AGO, it seemed at the end, they had a bit of a game plan. They had a bit of life to them, but just kept knocking their heads against, or smashing their heads against the wall when it was in the early rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'd have to think they lose pistol, they're pretty much done at this point. There's just really not many rounds to work with. And for Simon, I mean, this is the perfect response. This really is showing up in a massive way on Dust 2 in a very unexpected way, to say the least. But they do need to still find this T side. They still need to find those 4 rounds to be able to find 16. The aggression coming up towards short. Are we going to be able to find the first? Going to find a second? It's going to be thinking and trying into the action, but the trades from KDO come right back.
All to play for in the pistol, incredibly important for AGO. Not to mess this up, Furlan particularly, who seems to be on a bit of a quick flank. His teammate's going to be joining him. Oh, coming in from short. First one gets clapped, second one gets clapped. KDO having a hell of a round here, all onto Oscarish. He's not recovered that kit, by the way. Tagged down to 34 HP and has to find the heads as quickly as possible. It's just not looking too likely. Peeks out straight into the crosshair. And there you have it. That pistol might just seal the deal, to be honest with you. They're going to force here, but it is an incredibly, incredibly hard uphill battle now from here on out. And to begin it, you have a buy like this, which is really not that great.
And it kind of seems like AGO should have picked Mirage and Simon should have picked Dust 2 rather than vice versa. I mean, we've had both these maps in the series be incredibly one-sided. But only 7 rounds going up for Simon in that first map. And now going into Dust 2, it could be even less for the AGO side in comparison. Mo's taking quite a lot of pop shots coming out from the scout. Oh, Nealon, the entries coming out through mid. And, well, look how quickly they find that 5-on-4.
Yeah, really good stuff. Trading across a few of the weapons as well. With Nealon being ever so slightly tagged up. It's potential for the Deagles and stuff, but this is really in a situation, honestly, Dweg, where normally we'd say, yeah, damage is cool and keeping the economy modest, blah, blah, blah. But they need to find this round, like, honestly. And it's just not looking too doable. And Simon playing this perfectly, finding the first, chilling, waiting for some aggression to come their way, maybe someone to make an unforced error. And there are a few areas on the map as we keep flitting about that you can see that possibly happening. Groovy gonna creep out, but that is a perfect angle from Norbit. He wanted to knife him, but unfortunately picking up the speed means he's just gonna take him down. Fiku, meanwhile, headshot angle, a number of players coming at him. He wants to find one. That's a quick flick onto Mo, but ultimately to no avail here. 4 versus 2 for the Scouts. They're too far away from the action. They're gonna look to save, and it will be a 14 for Simon.
And I don't know where this is coming from. You know, I seriously do not understand how XCOM AGO can go from being just utter dominant on Mirage to going into Dust 2 and just not even showing up in the slightest. It's really a weird and strange best of 3 that we're seeing here, Scriv. And yeah, I mean, I don't know which way this is going to go going forward. I mean, we can pretty much already guarantee that Inferno is going to be coming in as map number 3. Because, yeah, it just, I don't know. XCOM AGO. It's like they've just gone to sleep.
It is weird. It is very weird. And I think they kind of, you know, they got to a point where they were like, okay, none of this is working. But by then, it was kind of a little too late.
Them odds too. 12.6 for loot bet. If you want to get involved in betting on this match or betting on this series, head over to our fantastic partners over at LootBet to get some great and fantastic odds. But really, yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, AGO going into this, it is not going to be the force buy. They're just going to get those saved in weapons in the last round. Fiku is actually going to force down to pretty much an MP9. Finland does find one, but overall the trade kills still go in favor of the T side. There is a little bit of aggression coming out from Fiku, but the trades, they come out so quickly, and that's probably happened for most of this map. Is before even a minute has struck on the clock, we've just seen so many kills go in the way of Simon.
An attempt is made by Oscarish. Not going to land that one. Would have been a bit nuts. 15-3. 12 in a row. I mean, this happens once in like a million games. To be honest, you know what I mean? Like, regardless of what level you're at, I'm trying to think, you know, of situations where we even considered like 6 rounds in a row at a major for Luminosity and whatnot, a bit of a mad one. Might have been 7 to be fair, but you know, winning 12 in a row, whether you need to or not in a game of Counter-Strike, is incredibly difficult. But they've got a good buy, kind of. Fiku on the deep, not ideal. Love this, getting aggressive. Groovy gonna find 2, does get traded back pretty quickly. And Fiku gets himself a free upgrade. 4 versus 3.
You saw the feet.
Almost. Yeah, I think so. He knows he's there. He's trying to bait him out as well with the shot, but not gonna happen. Meanwhile, in underpass, a little bit of a cheeky 1-for-1. Still an advantage for XCOM AGO though.
And honestly, if Felon gets any further aggressive, he's actually going to be able to spot out that bomb. But unfortunately not. He goes right past it. B-bomb side's pretty much opened up, and well, Norbert, he could like still sort of sell a bit of a fake here towards his short position, especially if he takes down Ferlin. Because XCOM AGO, they're pretty much adamant it's the A-bomb side at the moment.
Ooh. Maybe that kind of gives him a bit of a different idea. Modo, this would be the perfect way to end this map. The 1 versus 2 for the big man. 22-7. Can he make it 24? That is the question here. Knows there's one coming towards tunnels. Oh, and inches, millimeters away from finding that shot. He needed to do that right. Needed to get aggressive. Unfortunately, doesn't work out. The XCOM AGO will find themselves the 4th round. The comeback train has left the station. Whether it makes it to its you know, full destination is another question, but at the very least they buy themselves a bit more time. This is what I like to call the dignity saving rounds, right? It's still going to be hard for them, but at the very least a bit of confidence and whatnot. I don't know, stats going into the next map.
Yeah, I mean, even just trying to get a bit of confidence in yourselves, kind of saying, oh, you know, we didn't get entirely smashed, you know, we put up, you know, an X amount of rounds. So, yeah, for XCOM AGO, just seeing if they can survive at this point. And, well, for Simon, they're going to be able to go straight back into round number 20 with a complete full buy. Mo with the AWP in particular. Didn't win out that 1 versus 2 clutch, but has looked exceptional so far in the second map of the series. And you got to think for the polls, you've got to take this round by round. You can't be thinking, oh, it's 11 to OT. You've got to be thinking, right, what do we do in this round, then what do we do in the next? You don't want to be thinking too far ahead into the future.
Yeah, it really does need to be moment by moment, for sure. Probably the best way to approach it. And it's kind of weird. There's like this shift of, okay, we'll see what we can do. MHL, beautiful shot coming in. Able to drop back. Nate does a bit of damage and he stays alive. Not going to be traded. 5 versus 4 as Neelan makes his way to the site. They have kind of lost the site control. The lurker on the other side of the map, though, going to get taken down, so ain't no B hit coming in. Groovy, meanwhile, has got this long control, which is always difficult to deal with. 5 versus 3, bomb plant comes in, but AGO don't really care about that, right? They're not going to throw themselves in the situation to try and deny that, but they have so many players all over the place, some coming in from short, a lot coming in from long. And I think this is something that SYMAN might not expect. Yeah, 3 players at long is incredibly, incredibly difficult to deal with. They don't really have much utility. Great flash coming through. Neelan does find one. Mo, though, unfortunately, is in such an odd spot right now. Will get taken down, and there you go. The kills come in for AGO, and they will find themselves the 5th.
Yeah, it's a good retake. A very good retake coming through from the CT side. And really what it comes down to is obviously being able to get that 5-on-3 while that post plant comes through. And like you said, you know, not trying to deny that bomb, you know, taking their time, making sure that they're all retaking together. And you're right, the utility certainly made it difficult for Mo to be able to land a shot. 15-5. It will be another 10 rounds in a row for XCOM AGO if they want to try and get to OT. Now let's just see how many more rounds they can find until SYMAN just get that one more that they need. Couple of light upgrades coming through with some upgraded deagles. No Kevlar across the board and a single flashbang. Double ops coming out for Furlan and MHL. And Groovy to start things off with a little bit of aggression out towards long.
Not to get traded back. Neelan gonna fall to a team kill. Oh no, that's awkward. Yeah, takes a little bit of a second to follow up. You know, you see the kill feed. It's really cool that it includes like the fact that it's the color of the team getting the kill, right?
Yeah,
but
that's...
for team kills, it can be a bit weird to realize immediately.
I haven't seen that before. It's one of the first times I've seen a HUD where it's like it's just the team that got the kill. And I actually kind of like it. It makes it a little bit easier sometimes, especially when the kill feeds goes crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the TK's a little bit awkward, but I suppose what is more awkward is this round coming out from SYMAN. Mo trying to fake that he's flashing, but does not get XCOM AGO to turn at all.
So all good. The anti-eco, the anti-force buy does beg the question that we were kind of asking in that first half. Maybe if they'd have started off on the CT side, would it have been a bit more successful for them? Obviously, we'll never really know unless this turns into an incredible comeback. But for now, indeed, it is just kind of these consolation rounds that are not having too much of an impact to the overall score, the overall belief that this comeback is indeed possible. Buy round coming in for SYMAN. Smoke onto the Molotov. Fiku and Groovy both in a pit. Gotta be careful. So many flashes coming in. Quick 1-for-1. Groovy, though, still alive. Standing strong as he gets 3. And the round over in a jiffy. There you go. XCOM AGO going to get the 7th. 8 more to go.
Alrighty, we're getting there. Slowly but slowly. And what it comes down to is look how blind those T players are. Groovy, such a great hold out from that long face in that pit position, trying to back up his teammate. And okay, Scriff. I don't want to say the comeback's on just yet, but it is slightly getting interesting. This is now 4 rounds in a row going the way of the Polish XCOM AGO camp. Hearing the footsteps towards lower tunnels, Fiku just decides to fall back and play a little bit more passive.
Oh, beautiful shot for Furlan. Opening up once again, looking nice and clean in these anti-eco situations. Oscarish. Oh, couldn't get clapped down as he goes for the peak. That does leave the B bomb site somewhat vulnerable. Great little shot coming through. Fortunately, not much frag. 4 versus 3 and being held behind. Mo with a key frag coming in. However, I think the round is going to be a little harder here. The bomb down in lower tunnels. Neelan has to go and retrieve it. Mao's got himself an AK, but probably just going to look to throw themselves at this and maybe do a little bit more damage. Definitely keeping the economy modest so far. Any more damage than this, and you know, fingers need to be pointed at XCOM AGO perhaps, but we don't quite know just yet. Great little angle for MHL. He's going to go for the second as well. Misses the shot, but onto the P250. Does need to respect, does need to be careful. but done its work, right? 1 versus 3 with no armor is just not going to happen for Mo.
That certainly isn't. And while tapping away, it will be another kill going the way of the XCOM AGO side. That is going to seal them an 8th. And going into the buy round in round 24, this is where SYMAN should be able to shut it down. They get their AWP out on their main man, their star AWPer of Mo. AKs across the board, loads of utility. And all SYMAN really need is to get that opening kill, to put the pressure back on the CT side.
Yeah, they really do. It has been a bit of an easy ride in some of these rounds for sure. Oh, beautiful stuff from MHL. This is what we wanted to see more from on the T side of things. Looking good. Second coming in for him. The one-man army standing strong on short. It's been a beautiful position for him in these past few rounds. Really looking good. SYMAN, like you say, not really exerting that pressure. Secondary AWP also chiming in, looking so good. A flawless rifle round coming in. SYMAN are getting a little giddy, a little overzealous maybe. 6 more rounds in it. A little bit more to go.
You believe?
Hard to believe ever so little bit. I don't want to put all my chips in. These rounds are really decisive, but SYMAN have got so many to play with that I think they're just not really thinking about it right now. I feel like as soon as they take a moment, surely they clean things up.
You'd think so. You certainly would. But really, these double AWPs hitting some great shots at the moment from Furlan and MHL, especially on a map like Train. They do a really good job of AWPs, and so far, just to, at least in the last 2 rounds, being able to find a fair bit of impact. Groovy looked like he wanted to overextend a little bit, but gets forced back from the molly. Now, there is only a single B defender, and that's Oscarich. So really, if he gets taken down, but Groovy, he's heard the footsteps.
He also, how has he crept in like this? Could do some more damage. Is that pretty damn low and will be dealt with? Okay, so nothing too crazy. But again, economy not wild right now. I mean, they are having to rebuy here, there, and everywhere. MHL's got a hell of a lot of money because he's just not been going down. And now only 5 rounds in it, which essentially, I suppose the loss bonus stacking up depends on bomb plants, but to me kind of translates to 2 or 3 more rifle rounds to get the better of. No mistakes as yet from AGO. We've not had any of these rounds really come that close. But still, they can't make any, right? They cannot let the ball slip at all.
SYMAN maybe a little bit desperate at this point to find an opening kill because, well, so far the City side have found a lot of them. MHL's maybe staying his welcome a little bit too long around that short face and decides to reposition to a little bit more of a passive angle. And at least SYMAN have taken some pretty great map control just off some basic utility. Being able to force the aggression out from short to being incredibly passive. 2 players are here for the B bomb side defensive coming out from XCOM AGO. And SYMAN, they could be splitting themselves up from mid to B.
Yeah, this is the round, I think, where they are going to apply that kind of deeper strategy again. And everything. Definitely a little bit of a shame. Run boost coming in though. MHL going to be pushed off the angle pretty damn quickly, and they're ahead of this Molotov that he's thrown. He needs to be so careful, and unfortunately taken down way too quickly. The A bomb site has fallen. Bit more B pressure from XCOM AGO in this round, and that may well be the one mistake. You know, MHL going down without finding a frag might just seal the deal.
This late lurk from Norbert, like, Groovy's ready for it. He is so damn ready for it, but it depends on the timing, honestly, because the clock's already been ticked for quite some time, and here comes Norbert trying to make his way out, nearly going to be able to try into the action, and this should probably be it. Furlan's going to be the last one left, 1 versus 4, and finally, SYMAN are going to be able to get their 16 and take us to a second map script. It took a little bit of time. It did take 7 rounds in a row from XCOM AGO to get into this position. And wait, is someone already disconnected? Mate, that's just BM right there. That really is.
It's a bit rude. It's a bit rude, isn't it? But goodness, I don't know. It was such a one-sided affair to begin with. I think, like I say, SYMAN were just kind of throwing themselves at it, not really thinking about what they were doing. And then, you know, it was a little bit wild. But either way, it will indeed be our third map required. Inferno will be coming up after the break. Hang on. All right, welcome back. How's it going? We're into our third and final map for AGO versus Simon. It's Inferno. It's been a bit of a wild ride getting here. I think it is safe to say AGO stealing away that first map 16-7. Second map comes a little closer in the end, but after a 12-3 first half, there's no way Simon lose it. And now into Inferno, the decider, which is very much up in the air. I mean, the first two maps seem to be clear cut. You know, this team's going to win it. It ended up being the opposite way round, but hey ho, this one I think is a hell of a lot harder to call.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I was able to obviously cast the best of ones earlier today, and Simon won like almost nothing. They had a 5-1 lead going out in Inferno. Then they ended up losing a 16-6. They looked pretty rough. Like, they couldn't find anything. Mo was not hitting shots. You know, everything wasn't going their way. Now, at least for the AGO camp, yes, they put up 12 rounds, but they won both pistols. They went 3-0 up in each half, so they only won about 2 or 3 gun rounds. So in terms of what both teams were able to do today, both didn't really have a great showing on this map. So, yeah, it certainly could be really down to the wire.
Yeah, it's been a really weird matchup as well, right? It's so hard to call between these two teams just in general, I think, regardless of what kind of a map we ended up on.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a strange one, the complete juxtaposition. Maybe, as we said, as we alluded to, as we watched that T side unravel from AGO, it could have been a different story if they started on the CT side. So it would be interesting to see if they opt to go towards that here on Inferno if they win the knife round. But yeah, the individual's looking really, really good in the way that we kind of expected. I mean, Fiku had a hell of a showing, to be fair to him, 23-17, and yet they're only able to get 3 rounds in the first half. So a little strange in that sense. Meanwhile, Mo, if they can't shut him down here, which I think for me was the biggest struggle that they had on their T side, they can't shut him down here on Inferno, we could see a repeat of the previous map.
Yeah, we certainly could do, you know, especially if they can get that AWP out right, you know, if they can get the money going for them, they can get a bit of early momentum. If they just can't seem to shut him down in any way, then it's certainly a possibility. One thing, though, that does concern me going forward is kind of the lack of performances from a couple of players from the Simon side. We see KDO only putting up 21 kills across both maps. Kios only fighting 25. So in terms of like performances from Simon individually, I don't think they've been able to be as impressive as the AGO lineup. But again, it seems like this best of 3 is just, it's full of surprises.
Yeah, it definitely. Raises, so not quite over yet even, and it's been a relatively grueling best of 3. We'll see how this third and final map goes down. AGO may well come out on top of the knife round. It's a little difficult to tell here. KDO 24 HP. Oh, the slash misses from Ferlin, and that may well cost them in a big way. We've just seen them have a terrible T side, and I would imagine Simon going to go with the CT side. They will indeed. So yeah, it might be hard for them. Inferno is a very different beast from Dust 2, to be fair. But still, there were a few fundamental issues for AGO coming through on Dust 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, Simon, they're going to start up on CT, so at least they'll be happy with that much. You know, they were able to get a really great CT half on Dust 2. They'll be able to probably try and do the same going into Inferno. And it starts off the back of this pistol round, honestly. A bit of utility coming up for Oscarich and Kios. No kits, though, up for the CT side, so really they'll be wanting to try and shut this down before any post-plan comes through. And, well, this is the third map of the series, like Scriv said. The winner will be facing off against Hellraisers in the decider match. But starting things off in the pistol round, aggression coming out from Simon down towards mid. And with the Glocks, it's taking a little bit of time for them to find their shots, but they end up finding a 4-on-2 advantage.
Yeah, those fights are a little weird at the start. 3 versus 1, and yet he's able to get a frag, but it is Ferlin who comes in to do the biggest amount of damage so far. Kios, pretty close up on this smoke. Unfortunately, not able to find anything. They will make it across to the site as well. Smoke coming in. Nade to follow up on the bomb plant. Might do the damage. Not going to be the case. It seemed like they faked it out and waited for that nade to come through, planting a little deeper into the site, trying to boost up here. A lot of damage taken. It's been spotted out as well, and they know that Chaos is in and around the same area. He's got a fine 4. Not going to happen. Pretty one-sided pistol coming in for XCOM AGO.
Okay, that was... I like the intent coming out from SYMAN. It's very aggressive out through the mid phase. They try and, you know, take the fight as soon as they can, but a bit sloppy, I would say, on both the pistols from both sides. And, well, having a look at these fantastic odds from Lootbed, it seems like it's going to be AGO the favourites in this final map of the series at 1.57. If you want to get involved on those odds, obviously head over to our fantastic partners of Lootbed. But at least it's a good start coming out for the Polish side. They need to deal with the force buy. We've seen how many times they've gone down to buys like this before. And, well, there you go.
Spoke too soon, perhaps. Berlin and Oscar is going to trade a couple back. Okay, through the smoke. Pretty big frag to be finding there, actually. Norbit was one of those players that had snatched away an AK. Still though 2 versus 2. 2 versus 1 with the bomb being dropped now in the hands of KDO. No teammate to help him out. Tries to go for the face. Oscarish on 13 HP. It's definitely doable for Mo. Especially on that scout. Swaps across to his USP. Has the information in that he's a little bit low on the HP. Just playing it nice and passive. I kind of like this actually from Oscarish. Oh, Mo though, he's not going to cross. That's what he's waiting for, right? The player to push into Banana. But the thing is, Mo doesn't necessarily have to get crazy aggressive. It's a game of chicken right now. It looks like Mo's going to be the first to move. Will he keep going? He will indeed, and he's not ready for that angle at all. Oscarish with the quick flick to finish him off. It's so very close there, but it is AGO to come out on top.
And honestly, that's probably the only move that Oscarish has. Like, he can't try and take the fight to Mo considering how low he is. So he just plays really passive, plays a very, you know, difficult angle to check and a very, I suppose, angle that you wouldn't expect at all. And really, for Mo, just running straight into it. Like, that was really expensive. They had some really great kills to start things off. That was looking very scary for the Polish side. At least they clutch it out. But you've got to be looking forward thinking, damn, you know, how was that even so close?
Ooh, big chunky nades onto Oscarish. Little bits of chip damage being done. Certainly going to help the pistols out here, but still don't expect too much. It is another situation, however, if they're able to do some good damage, could be nice, but Groovy making quick work of the long defenders. Mac 10 is the ultimate counter, of course, to the armorless pistols. Player on short gets taken down as well. And that'll be all she wrote. I mean, they've got USPs. They might as well try and go for it. They're hoping someone comes their way. Ferlin is about. Oh, he is going to start moving forward as well. Got to be careful here. Spots them out, though, and well, he might just be gifted a couple frags of his own. Left on 1 HP. Kios is so mad he gets away with that. But nonetheless, that round's a bit better for XCOM AGO.
It is. It certainly is. And, well, no one goes down. Yes, Fiku and Ferlin were incredibly low, but it doesn't go down as deaths. And SYMAN. Now, they could have gone glass cannon on for Mo, but they want to try and get him up onto the M4, get that utility out, have a stacked buy between them. Only 1 kit, though, which could be a little bit of a worrying sign. Especially if Mo goes down and he's like in an aggressive position where they can't really recover that kit. Trying to look for a little bit of information out from mid, but for the most part, not really seeing anything. Pretty passive stuff coming out from SYMAN. And that was one thing that we saw from them in the earlier Best of 1 Today script, was how passive they play in the bomb sites. They do not take control whatsoever around Banana. It is just very, very passive from them.
See whether that is something that XCOM AGO have had the chance to watch and will now for the chance to exploit. Beautiful shots coming in from Nealon, though, to open up here. Looking very, very good indeed. That is certainly what they needed, and well, the bonus buy, I suppose, from XCOM AGO now becomes a hell of a lot weaker that they've lost one of their bigger fraggers so far in this game.
Now regrouping up to the B bomb site and trying to execute in. Now, there isn't a resmoker or an incendiary on the city side, so really they can't stop this execution from coming through.
Oh, Neelan, good for one. Traded back pretty quickly. Kios needed to do more. They do so well to eliminate him. 3 versus 3 now on the retake. Another frag coming in as well as Mo trying to pick up the pieces with him being around. Really just needed to wait for his teammates, I think, and now it's going to cost them massively. 3 versus 2. They're going to try and go for it. They don't really have the cash. This is an incredibly strong start if XCOM AGO are able to convert this, which, I mean, surely they do. KDO does manage to find one. Traded back very quickly. Norbit has crept in, but he's been heard. He's been spotted. Smoke onto the bomb. This is hopeful. Oh, he's not ready for Groovy. That could have been close, you know, if he'd have kept his M4 out. You never know. But he expected Groovy to be in Banana. Guess is wrong, and it cost him the round, essentially.
Now, we saw some really great things from Groovy on the T side of Mirage, and I reckon we're going to get a very similar kind of playstyle. He's really been looking very sharp. He's been able to find some great kills, some great trade frags as well. Already currently sitting 5-1. But this is a good start from XCOM AGO. You know, maybe I certainly thought that could have been going into Inferno, being a little bit demoralized after really being dispatched on Dust 2. But it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case at all. Potentially trying to go up 5-0. Good shot coming out from MHL, and really he's got to be the man that's firing on all cylinders for the T side.
Ooh, good stuff from FQ. Will go down, traded back by Mo, so I suppose that's going to be a pretty key frag. If Kios can track any down here, nah, not going to happen. That might just spell the B-bomb site being the target here. Doesn't matter, they find all the frags. Good stuff. XCOM AGO once again doing well on the anti-eco, anti-force buy situation.
All right. Well, let's see if the response can come through. This is the first time we've seen the AWP coming out for Mo on the city side. Looks like he wants to try and make some presence over towards that B bomb site. Maybe see if they can try and take some control, leave him there, and then rotate 4 players over to that A bomb site and have the stack over at A. XCOM AGO starting to build up a little bit of a money line for their own part. And this time around, Neelan's very aggressive. Doesn't really have too much support. He's kind of playing aggressive by himself at the moment. Oh, Norbit. Looking good. Molotov as well to keep him surviving here. Neelan trying to come in from behind. 1 HP for Oscarish. Simon's aggression seems to have paid off here, and it might just be their first round picked up. Bomb at the feet of Norbit. Thank you very much. Beautiful shot from Mo. And Furlan's the only one left. He's miles away from the action, so finding trade's going to be hard for him. And I feel like, yes, indeed, the 1 versus 4 will be pretty much impossible. Just find a quick little headshot onto Neelan. Got to do an awful lot more here. Tag down to 16 HP. I don't think it's happening. Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't think it's happening at all. And, well, that was a great shutdown. It really all came down to big man Norbit having a fantastic hold around sort of that boiler position. And Furlan just trying to fake that he made the jump up to the apartments. But it's all the ruse. Mo going to be able to connect with the edible piece. That's the first round going the way of Simon. And I'll tell you what, that was very convincing, Scriv.
Yeah, it was pretty good stuff. Really, really good recovery coming in from them in that sense. And not really letting it get to them. They have lost 5 in a row. The recovery now indeed on. We'll see if they can keep this going. It's pretty decent buy coming in from XCOM AGO, but deep into the coffers, you know, some of those close rounds against the pistols and whatnot coming back to bite them now. Great little smoke as well to get the banana control. Love to see that from Simon. So okay, have some ideas planned. Furlan, I'm not sure if I'm a fan. Seems a little bit of an afterthought. Does get traded back. However, KDO also going to fall on the other side of the map, I believe, in the apartments by the looks of things on the minimap there. So that's a pretty important frag picked up. Now a solid man advantage, but the AWP still being around for Mo. He could do so much damage. He wants to move forwards. He is going to go for it, and MHL is ready. The patience pays off, and the B-bomb site has fallen.
This has got to be a saber tent, you've got to think, for Simon. They don't have a great amount of utility, economy, sorry, and, well, they're pretty much locked out of this round, and yeah, you're right. They established a little bit of early control towards the banana face. We see them getting that opening kill. Yes, it was actually really aggressive. We saw Furlan just trying to dive through that deep banana side. It was a 1-for-1 trade. They get a kill around to the apartments, and from there, Mo is just looking for something out towards banana, overextending, and well, MHO, he was just so ready for it. 6-1 on the T side. XCOM AGO starting with a bit of a fiery start at the moment.
Well. Seems like indeed, you know, similar to the previous map, they are not phased. They will continue to move forwards here. Really, really good stuff. And hopefully it keeps on going. Though there is going to be money available for Simon to buy AWP immediately for Mo there, and dropping across to make sure that Kios particularly can afford the best possible buy. KDO as well received a drop. So really good stuff here for Simon in terms of the buy, but you know, the rounds, they need the rounds. We talk about finances all the time, but when it gets to a point like this, they really do need to be picking things up, because it is starting to very much get away from them. And XCOM AGO, fantastic position for them. If they can win another clean round, their economy is in a great place. Of course, guys, do be sure to get involved with Hellcase, our wonderful case sponsor. Got a lot going on at the moment, over 100 cases. Maybe if we have a little bit more downtime, fingers crossed not, but of course in between the games there will be. You can go and check them out, Malta V15 for a 15% refill bonus. Here we go though, banana, flash coming through. Unfortunately no one there for Nealon to face off against. He was hoping for a bit of action. Not going to happen. Norbit got to be so careful, left on 8 HP at long. It's a mad round. No kills as yet. I spoke too soon. Mo going to take down Fico as soon as I mention it. A nice opener for Simon.
That's a great opening coming out from the AWP, but the fact is they don't really have a lot of information at the moment. And Groovy, it seemed like he wanted to try and have a bit of a lurk around this long position, but then now with the man disadvantage, going to try and regroup and execute into this B bomb site. And Chaos re-smoking at, well, just the perfect time. And they're going to try and push through this. Nealon gets immediately taken out. And Chaos is the last defender here. The swing comes out. He does follow up with another kill, so they still hold on to the man advantage. But it's a 2-on-3 and a post plant now for XCOM AGO.
Low HP players dotted about. MHL in an aggressive angle. You're going to fully commit to this peak or just hold it a little passive to give him a bit more room to work with. It seems they're not even going to go anywhere near him, just all coming in from the water angle, grouping up together, trying to make that smoke for Banana. MHL missing the flick because Norbit's too fast. Groovy, meanwhile, has gotten in behind them. There's one on the bomb. He's got to take him down now. A little bit of a mess. Does manage to get two and able to just about get away. Norbit on 8 HP, getting on the bomb, just going for the hold, and Groovy takes him down. A massive clutch coming in, as Simon will be denied their chance at a second round. Oh, man, it's got to suck for them. A 3 versus 1 that they lose. Just a slight lapse in concentration, letting him get behind.
Oh, my goodness. I'll tell you what, I was getting worried there because I thought for sure he was going to get traded after being able to get a little bit of a sloppy kills in. But look, he clutches the 1 versus 3 at the end, and that's the important thing. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as he made it work. 7-1, XCOM AGO. Now that was probably looking like it should have been a second round for Simon. Not the case at all. Couple of upgrades. They do have the Mag 7 over towards the apartments. CZ's up close. I'm trying to do some damage, but Groovy, I tell you what, he is really firing up at the moment. Norbit does at least recover an AK, so that's something, but still man advantage. Man secondary advantage, and Simon are just getting, well, they're ripped apart at the moment, Swift.
A little bit of a trade back coming in from Kios. Get his hands onto an AK, so they have 2 AKs now. Oh, ooh, that's so very close. The fact that he's on the other side of the smoke, though, they've got to be careful not to give him to work with. MHL,
You're kidding, man.
That's so filthy. Just spamming through. He's looking for a little bit more as well. No one else around just yet. Norbit is in position, so again, need to give the respect across, but they can hit another nut shot on the orb, that could be nice. Ah, that one's pretty decent as well from MHL. Nothing as spicy as the headshot through the smoke, but all the same, looking consistent on that AWP.
And, you know, he was just spamming through. It was only going to be a matter of time until he was going to finally, one of the bullets connect. And, well, I'll tell you what, that's great stuff. Very good stuff indeed. And, you know, that's something that they can have a little bit of a laugh about. A bit of a joke for the Polish side and keep the morale up. They're in a great position. And, well, for SYMAN, they are not in a great position at all. We saw this in the pistol round getting very aggressive at 2 mid. Seems like they're going to try and do it again. MHL, how does he not go down?
I don't know, man. He seems absolutely invincible right now. So strong on that AWP. Mo will trade one back for SYMAN, but it's all they found in the round. The 4 versus 2. Neelan needs to be the hero, and he does not find a single frag. Mo gets a second, but he's distracted on A. 3 versus 1 with the orb. To retake this B bomb site when he's late, it's just not going to happen. He's going to save, and it will be a 9th for XCOM AGO.
And it's like, boys, like, if we knew you were going to play like that, why didn't you just give them dust too? Like, you know, they get slapped on the first map, it's a clawback on the second, and it's like they don't even exist on the third map. SYMAN just having the roughest time in the world at the moment, and well, XCOM AGO, they are really starting to hit their shots, looking very, very smooth. And Groovy may even just be able to get the timing to try and take down this AWP from Mo. That would mean they'd be recovering absolutely nothing in the following round. And oh, come on, just kill him, please, kill him. Oh, just come on, Groovy. Why are you waiting, mate? Like, what are you waiting for?
I think he was waiting for a decent position to knife him. But it just never comes. Just never comes. Playing with his food. It's nasty. It's very nasty indeed. There's that crazy headshot from the previous round that really turned things upside down for SYMAN.
Where do you go from here, Scrib? I mean, you're already down 9-1. You've got no money. You're probably looking at 10-1. And you're pretty much thinking, we're out of this game already. You're like, you got to think, like, mentally, they're done.
Yeah, I feel like there's certainly potential for that. There definitely seem to be a team that very quickly decide whether the map is for them or not. So it is definitely going to be tough to come back from this. Again, might see a little bit more from them on the T side. It's very hard to tell. Some teams, I think, would say for them, Inferno is more T-sided at the moment. It all really depends on how you approach it, I think. But it's going to need to be T-sided because their CT side really has not delivered. And, you know, comeback train and all that kind of stuff here to try and pick up as many rounds as possible. They start off with a weak buy. Oh, why are we not checking sandbags? Why are we not checking sandbags? Oh, God, the molly as well is terrible. MHL gets in with the quick trade. Thank goodness. That could have been an absolute mess. But it's all good. Disaster averted. Again, SYMAN just can't catch a break. When they seem to have a lucky moment, the quick trade still comes in.
And honestly, this has been like multiple errors, I would say, that have come across all 3 maps, where it's just like both these teams have just... sometimes they look so great, and then it's just like simple mistakes, like not checking positions, missing utility for that molly out towards the sandbags. And unfortunately, well, SYMAN, they don't capitalize on it. 10-1. And for SYMAN, they have got the AWP out for Mo at least, but no one is even on double digits in terms of kills on that CT side.
Yeah, it's a little mad, honestly. And I don't know, it's hard to see. It is hard to see when we were expecting kind of a bit more of an up-in-the-air kind of map. Mo tagged down to 1 HP on, the nade does finish him off. I thought he was far enough away, but the single fragment does spread, does take him down. That leaves the B bomb site very vulnerable early on.
He was so far away from that nade, but you're right. Like, because how low it was, Katie. Yo, it doesn't. One needs to follow up with 2. Agree. Well, that's just such a great trade. And well, Neelan, a little bit of a self boost up there to the flower pot's position, turns it back into a 3-on-3. Now they've left a lurk coming out from Furlan, and he's around this big bomb site, but the bomb and another teammate is kind of committed to brackets at the moment.
No, they're dropping it behind. I think they're just trying to find some kind of an opening here. I suppose it's been dropped behind for Furlan to recover.
Oh, that's close.
Oh, Nealon. Playing it safe. Getting into graveyard as well. Could be a great position for him. If this goes unchecked, you know, in the bomb plant for short, the pit, that open default plant, could deny it very quickly indeed. MHL is going to come creeping out. A little more known now. I think maybe call for a rotation. He goes for the peak a bit early and gets traded. Ooh, not sure if I'm a massive fan. Maybe he should have just hidden away, but it's rock and a hard place kind of play, right? Got to do something. But is that at the right time? 2 versus 2 kit available for Norbit. Fair amount of utility to work with as well. Slowly making their way in. Lining the utility up. The bomb ticking away. They're split as well. Dweg, not sure I'm a massive fan of the way they're approaching this one. Molly will clear out about half the site. Great flash for Kios to work with. Berlin in the 1 versus 2. Finds the first and gets the second. Ooh, super clean stuff in the 1v2. XCOM AGO, they can do no wrong.
And you've got to think there from the graveyard player, yes, it's a 3-on-3, but really, was that necessary? Like, if you would have just maybe played a little bit longer, played the time and played hidden, he could have easily found a couple of kills, maybe even dropped that bomb. I just think the trigger discipline was not there, and that was an overextension. That was too much... I don't know, too much of a reaction. You know, if he would have just stayed hidden for another 5-10 seconds, then maybe they win out that round. Huge 1v2 coming out from Furlan. And I mean, Scrib, you said it a little bit earlier, they can't catch a break. They really can't at this point. Nealon in the sandbags again. He's certainly been able to find a couple of kills around this position. I mean, it works out this time around. Biku? Okay, there we go. Lovely stuff.
Nice and simple. Oh, okay. Be careful not to do too much team damage. All good. Mao is in a pretty good position. Oh, great position, actually. They run in with their knives out. Groovy going to go down, drop the bomb. Quick recovery from Fiku, but still damage being done. There is a player in the form of Kios very quickly onto this A site. They're going to expect him hidden away behind the default box. He hears them coming in. The plan coming through. He'll peek out, get the wall bang. Simple kill for him. And Fiku, well, he's going to have to ace to win the round. It appears. Great flash as well from Nealon over the top. And there you are, SYMAN. They will finally manage to get another round. It comes in the form of a force buy.
Okay, look, that flashbang's perfect. That's really nice synchronization coming through in that 2-on-1. And for XCOM AGO, they just didn't check the site. We saw Fiku try to get into the pit incredibly quickly. MHL just went straight for the default plant and, well, unfortunately, not checking all their angles. And they will be able to get a buy back into round 14. The money line's not fantastic for the T side, but they're still able to get a complete full buy in. Let's see if we can get a bit more of a recovery going the way of SYMAN in terms of rounds. Nealon been able to find a fair bit of success around this top banana position, especially on the half buy upgraded pistol. And, well, he gets flashed in and he finds the opener.
All right, there you go. Good stuff coming in from SYMAN. They seem a little revitalized here overall. Lovely to see. Can they recover this halfback as best as possible, or are they going to get a taste of their own medicine with the 12-3? Maybe even worse if they don't secure this. I like the lineups here. Try and make the A bomb site work. There's 3 players here, ready and waiting, of course. Brackets control not going to be easy as well. Long not going to be smoked here. Flash coming over the top. Mo is the first line of defense. They've crept in, but he's heard it. Playing contact. Beautiful stuff. And able to drop back. Seems a bit more of a bait play. Yeah, beautiful stuff. They were trying to wrap it around. The bomb going to be spotted, though. And unfortunately, this pit crossfire is just too strong. MHL 1 versus 5. 25 seconds. No bomb. Right? He's just going to save, isn't he?
It's a bit of a smart call. I mean, He really can't think that he's going to be able to do much. And I mean, it was a little bit interesting to see that Mo had rotated over to B to try and get that 3-man stack in. At least the A defenders are able to establish a bit of a crossfire coming through. Every player gets a kill except for Chaos. And Nealon could potentially try and take this AWP down. Comes down to a little bit of timing, but unfortunately going the opposite way in towards that little kitchen area. Even a bullet was like very close to landing on a bit of spam. But 3-11, Simon. This is now 2 in a row, Scrib. So there's still a silver lining here. But really, 4 rounds at minimum is what's needed at the end of this half.
Certainly going to be difficult. But, I mean, to be fair, looking across to the other side, Groovy's got Zeus, so watch out for that. A Deagle to play with. It does seem on the hood it says he's got a Zeus, I think. I'm guessing that's what he is. Maybe he's got Zeus as well.
Never know when you might need it.
Yeah, you never know, mate. Just whack it out. Go for the zap. Ooh, great pickup coming in from Oscar. Might be able to get another as well. Waiting for the flash. Unfortunately, that's a bit too early. 4 versus 4 coming in. A lot of damage done onto Kios, and the nade to follow up. Not going to be enough. And he's able to get away. But still, that 1-for-1 trade in Banana, pretty damn advantageous for XCOM AGO. The A bomb site feels the hit because they've had to draw a player across.
Fiku's got to find something in the entry here. There is a player out towards short, which is incredibly blind, but it's actually going to be a fake by the looks of it out towards this A bomb site. We're taking the bomb back up through Banana. Now, they have done an awfully, like a big amount of damage onto Kios, just 7 points. Now, they traded the AWP between him and Mo. They're all regrouping together. They don't really have any utility, just a single smoke to work for on the T side.
Great crack angle here from Kios. Beautiful shot coming in. They need to deal with this player up on the boost. They do so quickly, so finding the trades at the very least will facilitate a pretty decent bomb plant. The A rotators now coming in. They will have no idea where these players are going to be sat. No idea on the retake. MHL will manage to find the first. 2 versus 1 for KDO now. Takes down MHL at Nubox, but he doesn't know where Fiku is. Smoke going to the left. Will he check his angles? He will, and he finds the headshot cleanly. 19 HP is the difference. But all the same, it's a 4th round for Simon. They do the best that they possibly can with this first half. It's still not great. But like I say, it's the best of a bad situation.
It really is. I mean, it was 11-1 at one point, so 3 rounds in a row at least come through for Simon, and we started to see a bit of a momentum shift coming out through at least those last few rounds of the half. But yeah, you're certainly right. It's not a great amount. And whoa, okay. They at LootBet do not believe in the comeback. 7.5-1 going the way of the SYMAN squad. If you do want to get involved, obviously head over to our fantastic partners of LootBet to get those odds. And for Simon's group, you got to think this pistol round, it's do or die. They win it, maybe there's a chance back. They lose it, and well, they're pretty much done. But look at the aggression.
Oh, I love this. Absolutely love it. Might as well go for it when you've got such an advantage, and it's working pretty effectively. 2 quick kills coming in. Unfortunately, not quite in range of the Glocks, it seems. There's potential here, though. Kios might be able to get a drop on a couple. Just find one. They all start to burst out now as well. There seems to be players absolutely everywhere. Oh, and the reload at the worst possible time for Kios. Still alive. 1v2. But not able to find any of those frags in the clutch. 12th round for XCOM AGO being picked up. And, well, yeah, that's a little disrespectful from them, I suppose. But when you're that far ahead, you've got to go for it. It works out, and it puts them in a really good position coming into the second half.
And, well, that was pretty aggressive. That was pretty darn aggressive. That was so fast coming out from XCOM AGO. It was almost like they were on T-side. And, well, for Simon, it was getting a little bit chaotic, and we saw some trades coming back. But, obviously, no bomb plant. No round victory. It is going to be the 4 spy coming through. And even Fiku's, once again, look how aggressive he is. Do the T side check this.
I'm not sure, you know, because they're going to have heard MHL. Okay, they're smoking it off, not taking any chances. Isolating MHL here, just get a double spray down, though. Not that easy, guys. They're going to try short a different avenue of attack. That also appears to be difficult. KDO will get one, but he's immediately dealt with. That's the only frag coming in. No bomb plant, no real damage done. And the 13th for XCOM AGO secured.
And, well, Simon, considering they forced the issue in round number 17, it means they're not going to be able to get rifles out. Oh, what a cleanup. MHL, great spray control, and then the MP9 from Groovy and Fiku working together. Very nice round indeed. What is the buy here? Looks like it's just a couple of upgraded Eagles. Maybe even more aggression to come out from the XCOM AGO side. How, like, did they only have W on their keyboard?
I mean, I guess it looks that way at the moment. It's stuck or something.
Yeah.
See what the take is. Over onto this A-bomb site. Trying to work with this advantage, but it's kind of a slim advantage. It's still difficult to fully understand what they have to do here. To try and hit the B bomb site. Not weakened, still got two players. In the form of Furlan and Oscarish. I suppose they're on the SMGs, but coming into this one choke point, you know, could definitely mow them down. Bit of a gap in the smoke. Oscarish playing with fire, gotta be careful. Throws some molly down. Oh, and they all line up for Furlan. The Molotov as well doing an awful lot of damage, and they do manage to hold it down. Beautiful stuff. Simon tried to get aggressive, not gonna work. Straight into the meat grinder. And that's a flawless B hold.
And, well, things were looking pretty decent. I mean, they were able to really catch off Oscarich off guard, trying to throw that molly down. A bit pressured, but they did not take into account that crossfire being established from Furlan, ripping apart with the MP9 and the Deagle. And Simon, well, they get the rifles out. It's 5 AKs across the board, a ton of utility to work for. And the bonus coming out from XCOM AGO, they could have upgraded some of these SMGs, but they're opting against it. And again, the keyboard stuck on W. Oscarich, man, what is going on? Like, what are we actually watching here, Script?
They're absolutely mental. They need to be meeting Hellraisers. Look, you know, they're on a bit of a timer here. Want to try and get away, get a bit of food in between, maybe. Because they are certainly not messing around. Well, 11 rounds in a row. It's not quite as crazy as I think the 12 that was required by XCOM AGO. But it's still pretty mad. And is going to be difficult, particularly with this being the buy to start off the comeback trade. Okay, they fight fire with fire, though. The aggression with the aggression, and it works out. Ruby, however, is going one better. Might even go two better. He does indeed. Look at that. Super clean. Norbert, the only one left, and he has got to pick up all the pieces. Looks like they might just be bowing out here. After a poor showing on the first map. Finishing with a poor showing as well. It has not been Simon's day today. Unless Norbit can save them. A quick little reaction onto Groovy. But now they know where he is. They know he's got the bomb. They're all encroaching into him. And there you have it. Furlan from the side will take him down. 16-4.